Hello. I, in fact, did not make instant ramen. I made normal dinner. Actually, technically, dinner was like leftovers dinner, but it was like, I don't know. It was leftover chicken, but it was like fresh rice. I did have to do panic laundry. I could have been late. But I had to do panic laundry. I spilled some sauce on my, like, extremely new white shirt. So I was doing panic laundry. I had to, like, go in there like right away because also it was like a sauce. It wasn't just like because it wasn't just like it was like a the sauce that was on the chicken. So it was like kind of a mix of like teriyaki sauce and like oil and fat from when I was cooking the chicken, which means that I was worried about it staining my shirt with like grease stains. So I did panic laundry. I was like, I literally tore my shirt off in the kitchen. This is, I mean, luckily I was wearing something else underneath it, but like, this is the benefit and the downside of living alone is like, I started trying to like wash the shirt while I was still wearing it, and then I was like, no, this is not gonna work. So I literally took off my shirt. I spilled sauce on my shirt, I noticed, and then I instantly like took off my shirt and started like washing it in the sink with dish soap, which is apparently actually like somewhat effective for grease stains because like dish soap, I guess it already cleans grease, right? It's already kind of made for that. So then I threw it in the washing machine with stain remover. And like it looks like it's gone. It looks like it's mostly gone. But it's hard to tell right now because with grease stains it's not always obvious while it's wet, right? Like with grease stains it only becomes obvious once it dries. So it's hard to tell for now. But yeah, I should be a neighbor in the window, sees Eggy eating and see her ripping off her clothes like, dang, must be a good dinner. No, it was while I was preparing dinner. It wasn't even while I was eating it. I ate dinner being very cold because I took off my shirt because I was washing it. So yeah, it's drying now. It's drying now after I did my panic laundry. So yeah, you were preparing dinner in a white shirt. Well, here's the thing. Preparing is like a very loose description of what I was doing because it really was just like making rice and then microwaving the leftover chicken. But I guess somehow between moving the chicken out of the container and into the microwave, somehow just like a bunch of sauce fell on my shirt. So, yeah, cooking is what I was doing yesterday. Preparing is, even then, is kind of a loose term for what I was doing today. I feel like a pure white shirt constitutes dressing down for Eggy. Not really. I feel like a lot of my shirts are like white blouse of some kind. Microwave? No, the microwave. That's what it's called. Do you not put your food in the microwave? Who doesn't put their food in the microwave? You know, when you need it to be warm. Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Eggy time. Eggy time. Mm-mm. There we go. Eggy. It is Eggy time. Behold, it is Eggy. It is Eggy. In contrast to the Lolita Corsair. Well, it was a frilly white shirt. It was like a white blouse. It wasn't like a white t-shirt. Trust me, if it was a white t-shirt, I would not be doing panic laundry for a plain white t-shirt. It was a frilly blouse that happened to all be white. That was a plain white frilly blouse. I was talking to my friend, did the pronouncing thing, did swim trunks as swamp tracks. It sounded like I was just stroking out. I think I've talked at least once about how my dad accidentally ordered Tai Chi instead of chai tea. Yeah. What is your wisdom? Don't drop oily sauce on your shirt. But that is the Eggy wisdom. Yeah, my apartment knows about microwave. Yeah, of course. I mean, you have a microwave. I'm assuming you use it with some regularity. But yes, good evening to Jake. And good evening to Panis, who has been a moderator for 3 years. It has been 3 years since the day that a bunch of bots randomly showed up in the chat, and I had to, like, make a bunch of random people moderators because all the people I had set as moderators weren't there at the moment. Congratulations for having been there in that exact moment. And good evening to Pembu. And good evening to Zully. And good evening to Opil. And good evening to Namerunya. And to Waver Taser on YouTube. I was skipped. I said you first. I said you first. Don't try to gaslight me out of this. You were first. Yeah. I told them the microwave was broken and they were like, huh? The microwave? What's their problem? Eggy didn't even read our attempted puns. Hold on, I'll scroll back up and look. I got distracted by my white shirt and the microwave. Let's see. I'm racking up my brain on the quandary. I cannot think of anything short of like, I love you, tile, death, do us part, but in a gay way as a combo of Zhong and Pride. That's kind of long, though. I wanted it to be in the title. I wanted to have a witty Pride Month Zhong title, but I couldn't think of anything. Let's see. Itsu Pride Month. Not bad. Funny how a pure straight somehow yields a good pun. Yes, this month, instead of doing a pure straight, we're doing a pure gay. We're renaming this Yaku. Pure gay? I don't know. I'll have to, maybe I'll read through a list of Yaku. 13 pronouns Yaku. I'm trying to think of like, hold on. If I can like read through the list of Yaku. I wonder, info? No, that's info. Okay, hold on. No, that's a tutorial. Is it possible to access like a list of Yaku from the home screen? Guess not. Oh, here it is, here it is. Okay, Richi, I don't think I'm just going through all of these. Richi, I don't think there's a pun to be made there. All simples. No. Fully concealed hand. I don't think there's a pun in there either. Seat wind. No. Prevalent wind. Even a... May your closed hands be open. Yaku, more like yaoi. That's a stretch, that's a stretch. Prevalent wind. I don't know, you can't just change any word that starts with a P with pronouns, but pronoun wind would actually probably work better than 13 pronouns. Dragons, no. Pinfu, no. May your closeted hands... Okay, closeted hands, actually. Closeted hand... Fully closeted hand, actually. Okay, that works. That works. Pinfu. Pure double sequence. They're double... Because they're in pairs. Because they're couples. Is this anything? Robbing a con. No, I don't think so. After a con. I don't think so. Under the sea. Don't think so. Under the river? No. Ipatsu? So I'll stretch. What does an ancient Chinese tile game have magic pictures have to do with being gay? I mean, anything can have to do with, being gay or ancient Chinese tile games if you try hard enough. You just have to have enough imagination. Dora... Red 5... And then, okay, then these are all local Yakus. I don't think that's gonna work. Double Richi... I mean, that has the same problem as regular Rishi. There's no pun to be made there. Happy High Pride. There, Vigay and Robocan. Trying to Vigay do crimes. But yes, good evening, Baxter Crook. Why is it called Yaku Man anyway? High Pie being a starting hand. Ah, yes. Triplets. I don't think there's anything to be there. 3 quads. I don't think there's anything. Well, nah. All triplets. These are all just variations on triplets. Little 3 dragons. Nah. All terminals and honors. 7 pairs. I mean, that's the same thing as the other pairs. Half outside hand. Here we go, pure straight. Instead of pure straight, we can do pure gay for Pride Month. Mixed triple sequence. And then everything after that is local Yaku. Okay, I think we've kind of exhausted our options here. I guess I can skip straight to the Mangan and Yakuman because I'm like looking at a lot of these and I'm like, these are just like, what if the initial hands but more? Like it's like, oh, Richi and then double Richi. Richi 2. Okay, what do we have in Yakuman? Blessing of Heaven, Blessing of Earth, Big 3 Dragons, 4 Concealed Triplets. All honors. All green. All terminals. 13 orphans. 4 little wins. 4 quads. Winning by all gay for an amazing reason. I hope your pride is an exhaustive draw. Ryukyoku. Ryukyoku? Am I missing something? I'm missing something. Full coming out hand. Yeah, so when you wait, hold on. Is there like a fully open hand? Is that? I don't think that's a thing, right? Is that a thing? Because like I know fully closed hands can give you like 1 bajillion points if you get them, but like is a fully open hand? Is this anything? As a local Yaku. Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I feel like a fully open hand in most games would be like that would lose you points. Can you imagine that? Fully open hand. Full outside. Ah, okay. Fully open hand, and it's like negative 1,000 points. Although, actually, no, I guess that wouldn't be possible. Well, actually, no, that would. More or less. I guess maybe if you're like in a position where like, you know, when you have like 1 tile left and you're just like waiting for somebody else to put the other one down so you can get a pair. I guess that sort of counts as like a fully open hand. Unfortunately, I'm just not even trying to fit anything into like the word mahjong itself. I still couldn't figure out. You know, I could have if I wanted to make a pun, I could have been late for stream. I could have been late for stream if I decided to make a pun. But I didn't. And here we are, relatively on time. You know, of all the things that could have made me late tonight, I mean, I guess my bus wasn't late. My bus didn't take too long, so there was that. But you know, it's like dinner could have made me late, but then it didn't. Emergency laundry could have made me late, but it didn't. Trying to think of a pun could have made me late, but it didn't. I have persevered through all of it. Yeah, binary Richi. Is that a thing? I guess it's like double Richi. Wait, so then would normal Richi just be like non-binary Richi? Because there's only like 1 of it? Just 1. An egg arrives precisely when they intend. No, sometimes I do not arrive when I intend to. Sometimes there are other factors going on. But none of them happened tonight. At least not in quantities bad enough to actually make me late for something. And I didn't miss the bus to work this morning either, so that's nice. I don't know, last week I like missed the bus. Like I had to take an Uber like twice. Cause like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's always like a 2-minute difference, you know? It's like one of those things where it's like, if I had only been like 4% faster and left the house about 30 seconds earlier, I would have made it. But then I didn't, so I missed the bus by like 3 seconds. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm now taking the bus lately, so I'm noticing it more. Or maybe it's just like the buses specifically that go between like Eggy House and Eggy Work. But like, lately I feel like the bus is like... something is weird. Like, the other day I was on a bus, and it kind of just felt like the driver was just opening the door whenever he wanted. And wherever he wanted. Because, like, I know there was a lot of traffic and a lot of construction, so I guess there was a lot of stops where, like, the bus couldn't really stop in the usual place that it's supposed to. But I feel like instead of just, like, trying to approach the stop as close as possible, the driver was just opening the door wherever. Like, I actually missed my stop, and I had to, like, walk a whole way back, like, because I had to get off a stop later. Because, the driver opened for my stop way too early, so I assumed, oh, it was probably for the previous stop, or maybe, like, there's a red light and he's just letting people off. And then I missed my stop, because it turns out that's where I was supposed to get off. Sometimes the visibility is bad enough they open the door to see. I don't think it's a case of that. It wasn't a case of that. Because he was opening the back door too, and letting people on and off. Yeah, like he was just doing it wherever. I know in current Eggy City, I don't know if bus drivers do this in every city, but I know they seem to have a policy here that if you go to train tracks, like if you go up to a railroad crossing, you have to open the doors, like regardless of if you're at a red light or not. Apparently that's for the driver to listen for the train, though, not necessarily for, like, getting on and off reasons, but... I suppose you could get on or off there if you wanted to, but... No, and then, like, I feel like lately, too, maybe I've just gotten worse at judging it, or maybe the drivers are worse at it, but I feel like the bus doors never open for the correct amount of time. Like, I feel like every time I get off the bus, I'm, like... scrambling for the door, and even then sometimes I'm like banging on the door while a bunch of people are like, back door, back door, back door, back door, back door, back door. Because like, it's like the amount of time it takes to get out of my seat. Because like, I don't like to be the kind of person who like gets out of my seat before the bus has stopped, because every time I do that, I end up losing my balance. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait for the bus to not be in motion and to wait to get up. And then I will get up, and then I will get off the bus. But no, for some reason, like, the door is never open that long. Like, I keep getting there at the last second. I don't know why getting off the bus seems to have, like... Does your back door have, like, the motion sensor? No, I think the driver has to open manually. Oh, that's the other thing, too. Some drivers, for some reason, just have arbitrarily decided not to open the back door. It has the motion sensor, but it doesn't always work. I think the driver can, like, override it. Because there's definitely been times where, like, you know how they have those, like, little yellow bars? That, like, if you press the yellow bar, the door is supposed to open if the bus is stopped. I've pressed the yellow bar, I'm, like, banging on the yellow bar, and it just, like, does not open. Very strange. Very strange. Yeah, harder to keep track on fares if they enter on at the back. Yeah, I don't know if it's, yeah, maybe it is, like, a fare enforcement thing, but, like, usually I feel like if it was, there would be, like, signs up. Like, they would say, like, you know, pay your fare, board at the front. Also, too, usually the case is, though, most buses don't want people boarding and unboarding from the same doors. That's why they have two of them. Because I guess the idea is that you board from the front and then you, like, disembark from the back. But, yeah. Chicago buses had like a sensor bar. You just wave your hand and the back door opens. Yeah, I think ours have like a yellow bar that you can press, and in theory it's supposed to do the same thing, but I think the driver can kind of override it. And I also think that like if the bus is not fully... I guess if the bus thinks it's in motion, then it just won't open the back door. Okay, Eggy-chan, we have a consensus on the pun. Let's see. Never discard your pride. Ah, here we go. I'm on a list of extensive Mahjong parlor house terms, and what I got is steru, to discard. Like, never steru your pride. Yeah, steru also means like to throw away. Yes, never discard your pride. There we go. We got one. We got one. Congratulations. It took everyone's efforts, but we finally got one. Let's go! Yeah, public transit advocates suggest having boarding from the back too, so buses run faster. Yeah, I mean, it also depends on the length of the bus too. Because like, usually those, like, you know those like Caterpillar style buses? I feel like those will usually have like multiple back doors too, because they're long. I also found EGGY for cheating. I'll now use this when people beat me. Cheating. Yeah, seen them but haven't ridden on one. Yeah, well, I mean, they were more common in previous EGGY City than current EGGY City. But I think that's also because like the buses in previous EGGY City were often doing much longer routes and picking up much more, like many more people per route compared to current EGGY City, where, I mean, I guess I still pick up a lot of people per route, but usually people aren't on like one bus for as long. So if the bus is crowded, it's not as big of a deal. My humble opinion, public transport should be free or done in a way that you could assume most people just have a ticket, so you can save literal months of everyone's time. Well, yeah, well, also too, like, oh my god. So, EGGY City has two kinds of trains, right? So, there's the subway and there's the commuter trains. And for the subway, it's like a simple, like, there's like fare gates, you tap on, you tap off. I don't think you tap off, actually, but like, you tap on, it's fairly simple, right? But for the commuter trains, I understand why they have to do it this way because they charge per distance. But the commuter trains are like, I wonder how many people get caught every year for like completely accidental fare evasion on these. Because there's no fare gates for the commuter trains. Like, there are some places on the platforms to tap your card on and off. And then, but like, it's possible to completely miss them, you know? Like, there's been times also too where I've like, it's like I didn't want to commit fare evasion, but like there's been times where I like get on the train and I'm like, I didn't tap my card, did I? But like, if you tap off, like, I'm sure there probably is a way to like retrospectively tap on and then tap off so that you can still pay for your fare after you've done it. But like, I feel like what keeps happening is that like, I get on the train, I'm like, man, I think I forgot to tap on. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I just won't tap off. And I just have to hope that there's not, like, I don't think I've ever seen fare inspection happen on those trains, but like, it does happen. But like, some of it, I'm like, how much of it is just like pure accident? Or like, you're in a rush and, oh yeah, like also too, like the places to actually tap on are like weirdly out of the way. There was one time where I'm like, I accidentally committed fare evasion because I was in a hurry. And by the time I got to like the place where you're actually supposed to stand and wait for the train, I realized I'm like, oh, I didn't tap on. And there's nowhere on this side of the platform to tap on. But if I leave the platform, it's pretty likely that I'm gonna miss my train. So I guess I will simply commit a crime and hope nobody notices. Yeah. Gaijong. I love the two approaches here. We got like, never steru your pride, and then we got Gaijong. Good evening, Nanora. Yeah, Deutschland ticket is the best thing to have in Germany, and unfortunately the government really loves cars while doing absolutely nothing to improve the car industry. Aren't train systems fairly open in Germany with the stray personnel checking tickets? Do you guys have more common fare inspectors? I mean, I know we have them here, but I can't say I've ever run into one. Can you even leave the platform without having tapped on? In Japan, it won't let you. Yeah, in Japan, okay. So, at least the trains in Japan that I rode on, it would charge per distance. So, if you knew where you were going, you could just, like, you would be able to figure out the price. You could also buy tickets. So, like, if you're going from, like, station X to station Y, and you know, like, you could buy a ticket from the machine. That would just take you there directly. But also, like, let's say you were going somewhere and for whatever reason you got off early, or maybe you missed your station and you got off late. There's something that was called fare adjustment that you could do while still on the platform that would allow you to basically, like, you could still leave. You could leave. You could pay your fare adjustment or, you know, get money back if you got off early. and you'd be able to escape. I'm happy to help with puns if you give me Mahjong words. We tried. We went through all the Yaku and we couldn't come up with anything. But yeah, no, for trains in Japan, I think it was... The thing is they all had fare gates, which is what we don't have for the commuter trains here, which is weird. And I'm like, again, like I said, I'm surprised at like those trains must have like a ton of purely accidental fare evasion happen every year compared to like subways and buses. Yeah. Yeah, I know Japan has provisions to deal with an open fare on your Suica if your phone dies. See, I didn't do mine on my phone, because I think they were still using, like, the physical cards when I was there. I still have, it wasn't a Suica. Suica is for Tokyo. Fun fact, they have, like, a different one for every region of Japan. So the one I had was for Osaka, and it was the Ikoka. I think I still have it. I think there might still be money on it. I don't know if it would still be usable, like, I don't know if the balance expires, but I still have my Ikoka. But Ikoka... It's weird too, because some of them are usable in other regions and some of them aren't. Like, I was able to use my Ikoka in Tokyo, but I've seen a lot of people who say like, they go from Tokyo to Osaka and they can't use their Suica in Osaka. So... yeah, it might still be usable. I don't know, somebody told me it takes like 5 years for the funds on it to expire, and it's been 3 years since the last time I used it. Almost exactly, well, not exactly, but it's been like 3 years and a few months. So I got like, I gotta get really wealthy in the next few years so I can afford a Japan trip. So I can go to Japan and use the rest of my Ikoka. But I don't know where I saw 5 years. I might be wrong about that. Yeah, it might still be usable, but they won't give new ones because of chip shortages. Yeah, I think it was also, they also discontinued, what was it called? There was something called like Welcome Suica, I think, that Tokyo had. It was specifically for tourists. Like, the idea was like, it was like a Suica that I think was good for like either a limited number of fares or a limited amount of time. But it was essentially like, the idea was tourists. I think they stopped that one too. Japan trip is not that expensive, right? If you can save 4K. Yeah, it really is. Well, it depends on the price of airplanes, I think. It really depends on, it's all on airfare. Is the big deciding factor, I think. I googled the list and the best I got is all green turned all gay, or adopting the 13 orphans into 7 gay pairs of couples. But then one of them's gonna be alone because there's 13 of them. It's an uneven number. Yeah. I guess across North America too, keep in mind. Yeah, once again, like, Japan is about as far from EGGY City as you can physically go. Like, let's see how much tickets cost right now. Let's say to Tokyo. Like, currently cheapest, okay. Well, this is for the summer. So obviously the prices will be higher for that. Because it says, currently if I were to go on July 9th, it would be... cheapest would be like just under 2,000. Let's see if let's try a different month. Let's try like October. Let's try October 1st and I don't know, like 2 weeks later. Okay, so it's a little cheaper, but it's still like $1,800. What about November? What about November? Yeah, it's still up there. It's definitely better than it used to be. Like, I definitely remember a couple years ago looking at prices. Okay, it says prices are currently high. So I guess it comes and goes. I definitely remember looking at prices a few years ago and not seeing like a single thing under 2,000. So it's definitely like better than it used to be. But yeah. Well, prices affecting it might go down in a few months. Yeah, again, I think it says Google is saying prices are currently high. So I'm assuming that, I imagine also too, this is probably the time of year when people are like booking trips, like just in general. So yeah, I'm sure it's like a mix of like cost of fuel versus cost of, you know, demand and all of this. I'm sure there's like 1 billion factors going into it, but yeah. Well, it's 14 orphans at the end of the hand, so... Oh, true, true. But, yeah, we got one... But also, too, like, the cheaper flights are, like... some of them seem okay, but then some of them are like, no, this seems miserable. This seems miserable. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to do that. They're like, you know, like two layovers and it... No. Where are the layovers anyway? I'm seeing ones with like 2 stops, but I don't know what the stops are. What are the stops? How can you put in 2 stops? I'm so confused. Cause like, okay, I think I don't think there's any direct flights. Are there any direct? No, I don't. No. Oh wait, there are not. Oh my god, okay. It looks like there is a non-stop flight out of EGGY City that goes to Haneda, but it's like over $2,000. So I think, yeah. So how expensive is a flight to Japan for you at the moment? In the neighborhood of $2,000 each way, it looks like. Or maybe not each way. It says round trip, but it's unclear what that means. Like if I just picked one, if I just picked the cheapest one, and then... Yeah, so I think it's like like airfare would be in the neighborhood of $2,000. You need a very rich friend. Because, yeah, that's the thing, though. Because, like, I know that things are cheaper there once you're there, right? But it's just, like, getting there is the expensive part, right? Because, like, the other thing, too, I think, with Japan, though, is that, weirdly enough, maybe things have changed. But in my experience, it's actually probably one of the easier countries to travel solo and not spend that much more money than if you were traveling in a group. Because that was one thing I learned, actually. Because, again, when I was in Japan, I was by myself, right? So if I wanted to book a hotel, it was for one. And I'm like, wow, the hotels here are fairly inexpensive. Surely it would be even cheaper if we go with 2 people. But it turns out that hotels in Japan will often charge per guest rather than per room. So, like, hotels here typically, like, if you book a room and it's like a room for 2 people, but you're 1 person, they will charge you the same. Like, the price for the room doesn't change. But in Japan, because I guess there's so many amenities that come with the room often, they will often charge, like, you know, they will charge more for an extra person. So, yeah. Hi, Eggy. Just arrived. Which country in question? Japan. Yeah. When I said 4K for the trip, I was thinking of Europe. I don't know how much a euro is to a Canadian dollar. Hold on. Canadian dollars to euro. 1 Canadian dollar is 0.62 euros. So what would be 4,000 euros? That would be 6,441 Canadian dollars and 17 Canadian cents. That's how much it would be. I'd like to think the trip would be a little cheaper than that. Yeah, I saw your fashion pics. Very elegant choices. Super whimsy. Thank you. I'm trying to be very whimsy again. Now that it is warm enough to be whimsical. I think it was a little too cold to be whimsical for a while there. Yeah, I spent less than 4K for the entire 2.5 weeks I was there. 4K of what currency, though? Because, like, USD, yeah, I could see that. Canadian dollars, Let me see what the CAD to yen exchange rate is right now. Okay, so 1 Canadian dollar equals 115 Japanese yen. Wow! 100 yen is 87 cents. Wow, okay, yeah, that's higher than it was before. Okay. Canadian. Ah, okay. Yeah. Seeing a flight, Canada, Tokyo, province. Yeah, 1,379 euro-ish. Yeah. Because, yeah, no, Japanese hotels have more single-person rooms. That is true. That is true. Because that's the thing, too, is I feel like a lot of hotels here in Canada and in the States, they don't really have single-person rooms. Like, if you're a single traveler and you book a room, they're probably just gonna give you a room with 2 beds, and then you just, like, throw your suitcases on the second bed. Whereas, like, in Japan, there were actual single-person rooms that only had 1 bed. It was, like, 1 bed, and there was, like, a table and chair, and, yeah, like, it was designed with 1 person in mind. So, yeah. So, it's one of those things where it's, like, traveling in a group doesn't necessarily make things cheaper per person, I would say. Because, like, I'm trying to think of, like, okay, what do people typically share when they're on a trip? It's like, okay, you can save money by sharing a room, but if the cost is per person, then that doesn't really change anything. It's like, okay, what about food? Like, maybe, you know, for the days you're not eating out, you buy groceries. But, I don't know, I still don't feel like you would be saving that much, because I feel like usually stuff in Japan isn't sold in, like, huge sizes, so I don't think you'd be saving that much money with that either. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's, like, anything else, like, sharing a bed to help with loneliness. Yeah, but okay, I'm talking in terms of monetary value here. In terms of monetary value. I've never seen a single bedroom room in the US that wasn't king-size bed. Yeah. I don't know, maybe my standards also for rooms. Because, like, I've seen a lot of people who travel to Japan and they're like, oh my god, the hotel rooms are so tiny. I remember sending, like, pictures to my parents of, like, the hotel room I was staying in. They're like, it's so tiny. And I'm like, is it? Maybe my standards are just, like, skewed? But, like, a hotel room is a hotel room, right? I feel like unless you're staying at, like, a really fancy hotel or, like, a hotel that's, like, a themed thing or something, like, you're on the trip, you know, unless something goes wrong, you're probably gonna be spending most of your time not in your hotel room, right? The hotel room is just, like, a place to exist between doing other things, right? It's a place to sleep, and it's a place to keep your suitcase safely. Like, yeah. Still a little cheaper for multiple guests in a room. When I was looking for most of the hotels, I got a 1 guest room for around 100, 2 guest rooms were like 150. Okay, yeah, it probably depends on the hotel too. But yeah, for like the kinds of hotels I was going to, was like, yeah, it was like per person. And they were like normal hotels, like they were just like normal, like hotel that you find near the airport. Yeah, the business hotels can feel tiny, but you don't need a lot of space. Yeah, yeah. You call your bathroom a water closet, sounds like you're just... Do we? I thought that was an Australian thing. I don't think that's is that a Canadian thing? I thought that was more of an Australian thing. Are you guys getting your stereotypes mixed up? Yeah, I mean, I knew it'd be like that, but direct flights to Japan from Toronto makes sense, because planes just fly over the Arctic. Yeah, no, there aren't, I don't think from here, there's not a lot of direct flights. Almost, if you're flying out of Canada to go to Japan, almost all of them are either going to be flying out of Calgary or out of, like, BC, West Coast. Mostly Vancouver. There doesn't seem to be a lot of, like, direct flights going from the East Coast. Presumably because it's, like, I'm looking at how long the nonstop flight is, and it's, like, 14 hours and 10 minutes. So I guess if you're the kind of person who can stand to be on a plane for 14 hours and 10 minutes straight, then more power to you, I guess. But I guess maybe they just assume that, like, even if it makes the flight longer, like, some people would probably be willing to add, like, an extra hour or 2 to their trip if it means they get to, like, you know, stand up and stretch their legs a bit, you know? Also, to continue the economies of scale argument, renting a small bus might be more affordable in the group. Yeah, but, like, how many times, if you're going... I've never heard of anybody doing that in Japan. But yes, good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo, Patamon-san. Yeah, 14 hours, it's excess sleeping in first or business class, I assume. Yeah, or, I don't know, you're just, like, a really strong and powerful person. I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, the longest flight I was on was the one to Tokyo, but it was, like, that was, like, 9 hours. because I had like a layover in Vancouver. So it was 9 hours. But like it wasn't like I don't know, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good, but also in my defense, I also messed up by eating a big meal before getting on the plane and then eating another big meal on the plane because I didn't know when they were going to serve dinner. So in all fairness, I could have probably made my experience a lot better by not eating an entire burger combo before getting on the plane. But yeah. Yeah, if I weren't doing a direct flight, I would probably add a stop somewhere I actually want to be. I don't know though, because like, does anybody actually want to be in any airport? I mean, I don't know. I like being in airports. But like, I don't know how for the impression I get is other people do not like being in airports. Yeah, I don't drink hardly anything before getting on a plane because I do not want to deal with using a plane bathroom. Yeah, for me it was because like, okay, I was at the airport and I was like, okay, I know that they're going to be serving a meal on board the flight, but I didn't know when. So I assumed it was going to be like at least a couple hours in. But no, it was like we took off, and as soon as the seatbelt light went out, they were like, okay, time for dinner. And I'm like, I was still like digesting the meal I had before I got on, and I was like, oh, this is a mistake. Yeah. In Japanese, but I often find the Japanese language difficult. 英語も、言語は、何でもの言語は難しいね。Yeah. I have one of those nice club memberships with complimentary food, decent Wi-Fi, and power outlets. It can be quite nice. I don't know. One day I'm sure I will get to fly business class. I don't know when it's going to be. But one day I'm sure it's going to happen to me. If I keep getting on planes. I like how Eggy short-circuited after that comment. Yeah. What? Oh, did my throat make a weird noise? Howdy, Marie. Hello, Sheriff Pumpkin. But yeah, got in a company one, but it's just in the airport. Nothing to do with the plane ride, unfortunately. Oh, for like the lounges. The lounges. Yeah, I think... I mean, it is called business class for a reason, right? It is called business class because it's for people who are in business, I think. But yeah, no, one day I will fly business class. It hasn't happened yet, but it could. I have ridden a train in business class. I once rode I think I rode in, what's it called for the Shinkansen, like green car or something? I'm gonna be real, I didn't notice much of a difference. I'm not entirely, like, I think I bought it because, for whatever reason, like, it was, I needed a seat that would let me have my big suitcase, and the only one that they had was in the green car, so I was like, okay, I guess that I'm doing that. But, like, I was under the impression that it was, like, fancier in some way, but I didn't notice any difference. But maybe my trip was just too short. Like, maybe this difference kicks in if you're, like, on the train for, like, 8 hours. Yeah, closest I got was a hotel room upgrade because they ran out of normal rooms. I don't think I've ever been upgraded for anything, now that I think of it. There's been times where I have ridden business class train, but... yeah, I know it's a bit late, but I subscribed to your channel. Ah, arigatou gozaimasu. Channel 登録 arigatou. Isn't there a grand class above green car? Probably. I just, for me, it was, I just bought it because I needed space for my giant suitcase, but. Yeah, it is premium or first class seating. It offers a quieter, more spacious, more luxurious travel experience than standard cars, typically featuring wider 2x2 seating, generous legroom, individual reading lights. I don't know, maybe my green car just like wasn't like, maybe there's like different levels of green cars. Cause like, or maybe my trip wasn't long enough. Cause I almost feel like my green car experience was also like, did you not have power outlets? I think actually you're right, there were power outlets, I think. But no, I seem to remember it being like just as busy. Like if anything, it was actually more busy than my train there. Like, maybe it's because I was leaving Tokyo as opposed to going, right? Because like when I got on in Kobe, it was like, you know, there wasn't a lot of people on the train yet. But yeah, maybe I was just trying to like leave Tokyo at a busy time, and that's why the green car was still busy. But yeah, it might still be quieter than the rest. I don't know. I mean, I guess I had my headphones in, so I didn't really notice a difference. I noticed, I'm trying to think if I noticed any difference. Most of what I remember from that train ride is that the Ekiben in Tokyo were worse than the Ekiben in Kobe. Like I think like one of the best, like not even just like bento, but like one of the best meals I had in Japan was like a bento I bought at Kobe station. And then on the way back, I was excited to have a bento again, but then I was looking at the ones in Tokyo Station, and they were all, like, more expensive, and they all looked worse. And I am like, man. Yeah, Egg, I just checked. Direct flights from Germany to Japan take the same time as flights from Toronto. What's up with that? I think it's different routes they have to take, right? Because keep in mind that for Canada, if you're flying from the East Coast, you're probably not flying through Europe. You're almost certainly flying over the North American continent into the West Coast, and then you're flying over the Pacific. So I feel like with Europe, you're probably flying over, you know, Africa, the rest of Europe, you know, South Asia. Yeah, isn't a lot of Middle Eastern airspace unusable by Western countries? Probably that too. I imagine there's a lot of like detours they have to take. Because I think it's also the same for, like, people who are flying from, like, I remember back when I was listening to K-pop, like, I would see, I'm going to sleep, so I'll be leaving my seat. See you later. Ah! Oyasumi? Oyasumi? Asa da kedo. Oyasumi. Yeah. But no, I remember, like, when I was into K-pop, I would, like, basically, it was a common route because you can't fly over North Korea. So when you had, like, Korean idols that were going to China, they would, like, fly through Japan. Like, they would have a layover in Japan, and then they would fly to China from there because, again, it's a longer route, but you can't or, you know, really shouldn't take the shorter route. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like, in theory, it's closer, but in practice, I think there's a lot more limitations. Whereas, like, from our side, if you're flying from, like, West Coast America, then your only thing you're up against is the Pacific Ocean, I guess. Because, yeah, I'm trying to see if there's, like, any flights from here that, like, go over Europe. Like, I feel like most of them... Like, even the longer ones. Let me see. Let's see. Because, yeah, most of these are... Yeah, going through... Okay, so non-stop, going through... What is Yo? Oh, that's through Montreal. Goes through Ord? Is that Calgary, I think? Oh, that goes through Chicago. This is Hong Kong Airlines. Okay, so this one goes through Vancouver and then through Hong Kong. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I see a single one that, like, stops anywhere in, like, from the Atlantic side. What's YQR? Regina? YVR... SFO? That's San Francisco? Yeah, San Francisco. Some of them will go through the states. Denver, okay. Here. Oh, it's through Newark. Yeah, there are some that go through the states, but yeah, LaGuardia, LAX. What's IAD? Dulles? 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 I don't know where that is. LAX, LAX. Yow! Oh, that's Ottawa. The Ottawa airport code is Yow! Y-O-W. Yow! But even the Yow is also a layover for a different airport. Yeah, is there anything that goes the other way around? I feel like it's not very common. What's YYC? I think that's also Canadian. Yeah, it's Calgary. YVR, I know that's Vancouver. Yeah, most of these are just like, how do we get you to like the middle or the west coast? And then oh, TPE, is that through okay, it's through Taiwan. What this? That goes through, no, that's the same ones as before, except with Montreal added. ICN? Incheon. Oh, this one goes through Korea. Okay. Oh, but that was a Korean Air, so that makes sense. This goes through Kansai. Wow, okay. Man, this is like actually, hold on, that's an improvement over a few years ago. This one goes through Kansai International Airport. Where was this? Where was this a few years ago? Because I remember, like, when I went, almost everything went through Tokyo. Like, there was no way to do, any kind of flight that went to, like, Osaka directly. I mean, there was, but, like, they were more expensive. But no, this one they got, you can go to Kansai and then get on another airplane in Kansai that takes you to Tokyo. In my mind, I'm like, that's backwards, but I guess. Yeah, and then some that go through Hong Kong. What's DTW? Detroit Metropolitan Wayne County. Okay, that's also from the States. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's not a lot that goes through the other side. But yeah, that's how the flight situation is. Oh, I'm gonna check again for off-Kai flights. I still need to buy my tickets because I spent all my time going, ooh. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed because I feel like the only two options I have right now for off-Kai tickets involve either I have to leave early on Sunday. And by early I mean like at like 1 in the afternoon, but like, you know, that's early in the sense that it's the Sunday of a convention, and I'm like, are any of my friends gonna be like awake? Yeah, all my options are either like leave too early or land too late. Because like there's a whole bunch where it's like, okay, I'd have to like leave the next day, or I'd like have to land the next day and potentially be late for work. I was willing. I was like, okay, I'm willing to take a flight that takes off at like, you know, 7, 8 p.m. And like, yeah, I would land at like 3 in the morning, but like that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, right? And that flight doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. They don't make them. They don't make them. Because yeah, what do I have for the way back? What do I have for the way back? There's leaves at 4:40, lands at midnight midnight. This seems like my best option, but it is the one that involves, you know, leaving early. There's another one that, you know, takes off at 10:47 p.m. and then lands here at 7 a.m. the next day, which, you know, could potentially make me late for work, given that I have to start at 8 a.m. This is from San Jose? Yes, but you can also, a lot of people go through San Francisco. I guess I could check for San Jose too, but I think it's about the same. Because, yeah, like, a lot of them, like, okay. Let me look at all the flights. Other returning flights. Can I sort these? I'm gonna sort these by departure time. Because, like, yeah, there's ones throughout the morning. There's a whole bunch that go back throughout the morning. And then between, like, 4 p.m. Okay, actually, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. The problem is that there's no direct flights. So, like, all of them are way longer. So if I wanted the last direct flight of the daytime leaves at 4:40 p.m. And the last, after that, if you want a direct flight, you gotta leave at 10:47 p.m. There are no direct flights in between there. Everything else is, like, has a stop and is, like, substantially longer. It's all, because it's like, yeah, I could leave at 7:30 p.m., but then I would get there at, like, 6:30 in the morning the next day, which feels like a big risk as well. Because, yeah, that's my fear. That's my fear, is, like, yeah, I could, like, show up to work the next day, because I have to be there for 8. I have to be there for 8 a.m. the next day. And I'm like, I'm okay with being sleepy. I'm willing to be sleepy at work. Also, some of these are really expensive. I'm willing to be sleepy at work, but I want to be able to, you know, not be late. Because I asked for the Monday off, but they wouldn't give it to me. So I'm like, no, I don't want to leave at 1 in the afternoon. I don't want to leave at 1 in the afternoon. I want to see my friends. I want to see my friends. High-powered business traveler EGGY. Because, yeah, it's like, there are some that leave, like, it's because of the time difference, too. Because, like, I plan to get there as early as I can on Thursday, but that's going to be easy because, like, 3-hour time difference. But on the way back, it's like, okay, you know, 1 in the afternoon there is already 4 in the afternoon here. So you gotta, like, deal with adding 3 hours onto that, no matter which way you go. So it's like, ugh. Like, I'm okay with getting here at 3 in the morning. Let me get here at 3 in the morning. It is your responsibility not to be late. Is that flight late usually? I don't know, that's the thing. Like... That's the thing. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But it's one of those things where if I'm cutting it that close, then, like... it's gonna be... if I'm cutting it that close, then I'm like, ugh. Because that's the other thing, too. There's, like, when is, like... okay, what if I sort these by arrival time? What if I sort these by arrival time? Because if I sort by arrival... and I'm like, okay, what if can I land here? All the ones that involve... okay, there's literally nothing that lands here between 1:30 in the morning and 5:50 in the morning. So I'm like, I feel like both of these... and, like, the one that lands at 5:50 would still have me leaving at 4:30, and it's more expensive. There's literally no upside to taking this one. Okay, what if I try San Jose? Because, yeah, the way there I'm not concerned about. The way there is easy. The way there is super easy. It's the way back. That's where they get you. Because, yeah, San Jose is almost the exact same story. Like, there are no non-stop flights after, like, 4 p.m. And everything else would require, like, showing up potentially late to work. So I'm like, man... I sort these by departure time? Because yeah, there aren't that many flights that go out in and out of San Jose compared to San Francisco. There's restrictions on night flights. Wait, the Monday. The Monday? The Monday. What about the Monday? I have to be there for the Monday. Yes. Ooh. So yeah, 11:30. This would put me at like the next day. And it would be more expensive. Ooh. I'm mad. It looks like leaving in the middle of the afternoon is like the only choice I'm gonna have. Man, you really didn't do yourself a favor. In my defense, even though I asked for the Monday, they couldn't give it to me because somebody else had already claimed the Monday. So it wasn't my fault. It wasn't like I didn't try. It wasn't like I didn't try. It's just that somebody else had already claimed vacation on that Monday, and there's a limit of how many people in the department are allowed to be on vacation at the same time. So, yeah. It is what it is. I just remembered this was supposed to be a Mahjong stream. Whoops. 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 There we go. Surprise Monday. The surprise is that there's no Mahjong. No, there's Mahjong. 69524. 69524. There we go. This is a Mahjong stream. This isn't just a stream where Eggy goes ooh. I mean, most streams are, but like... not specifically this time, you know? Not this time. Whoops, why did I paste my own live chat? Hold on. Let me copy-paste my own chat. Here we go. Pin! Let me pin my own comment. In my own chat. In my own stream. There we go. Yeah. What happens if the 1 p.m. flight is late and then you're late to do... No, here's the thing. Because, like, the 1 p.m. flight is actually a 4:30. It's like it technically be like a 1:30. So here's the way I'm thinking, right? Because the flight itself is actually... It flies out at 4:30. That's when it takes off. But the thing is that because it's an international flight, technically, like US to Canada, you're supposed to be there, like... They recommend you get there, like, 3 hours early. So I would have to be at the airport at like 1:30, which means I would probably need to leave even earlier than that. Which is why maybe it would be better to fly out of San Jose, because then I wouldn't have to like spend that extra time getting back to San Francisco. But even if the 1 p.m. like even if that 1 p.m. flight, which is actually a 4:30 p.m. flight, even if that flight is late, it's still okay because it's supposed to land at midnight, right? Or like half past midnight, right? So like unless the flight is like mega late or they've like transferred me to a different flight, then it's probably fine because that still gives me like a ton of wiggle room. Like that's like 8 hours of wiggle room, you know? Even that one, it's like, because it's supposed to land at midnight, it's like, that's like 8 hours of wiggle room. Unless the flight gets straight up canceled and like replaced with a different flight at a different time, that's like so much wiggle room. That is like incomprehensible amounts of wiggle room. They could transfer you to the 10 p.m. flight, right? Yeah. In which case, yeah, but like, I'd like to think that wouldn't happen. But... Because, yeah, now that I think of it, even with... I've experienced plane delays. I don't think I've ever straight up experienced a canceled flight. Actually, no, hold on. There was one time I think I was on a flight... It was with my family. We were on a family vacation. We went to Colorado, and there was some kind of inclement weather that made it, like, okay to drive, but not good for flying. So at one point, our plane like landed, and we took a bus to get to like it landed at like a nearby airport, and then we had to get on like a bus to get to the airport after that. What'd you do in Colorado? Largely admire the mountains. Largely admire the mountains. Cause yeah, I think we had gone I've been twice. Once in the summer and then once in the winter. Again, and it was like a family vacation thing. It's a place my parents like going. I'm like, it's alright, I guess. I got to be on an airplane. Alright. Oh, is that a new skin? I don't think I've seen that one before. La Vie. That one looks new. But we have enough people to start if everybody was ready. Hypothetically, if everybody was ready. There we go. Like, how would you deal with work when the flight gets canceled and you get stuck? You say when, as if that's like a guarantee. No, if the flight gets canceled, then I would be like, sorry guys, you should have given me the Monday off. I asked for it for a reason. It would be what it is, like. But no, I don't think, unless there's like a ridiculous storm or something, I don't think it would, taking the 4 p.m. flight would not like make me late, I don't think. Because again, that's like 8 hours of wiggle room. Even if there was like a 2-hour delay, that still would get me home like well before the time I would need to start work. Yeah, a friend of mine got stuck in Dusseldorf after her flight was canceled yesterday. Was it a long flight though? Because yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten like stuck somewhere though, due to airport shenanigans. Granted, maybe I travel in the summer more than in the winter, so I'm like... But like, these things can happen any time of year. But yeah, in the time I've been traveling on my own, I don't think I've seen like a straight up canceled flight. Yeah, she lives in Europe, so the flight isn't like long. But teehee. Hippedo. But yeah, I'm trying to think, outside of like the like plane to bus experience, which I guess is technically your flight being canceled, but it's like your flight being canceled while it's like in the air, I guess. Like being canceled halfway through the trip. Yeah, I've seen delays. Would you go to Brazil? What for? But that would also be a pretty long flight. Come to Brazil. They put you on a bus because I have a transport contract with the passengers? Oh yeah, like they can't just like abandon you in an airport, right? For the Brazilian eggplants? I don't know. I was supposed to say, I'm like, well, do you recommend anything? Is there anything you recommend I would do while I'm there? I can manufacture a reason, but there is none. I mean, many people travel there, so I know there is tourism and there is things to do. You can see the big statue of Jesus, the really big one. That's in Brazil, right? But yeah. Did you see Japanese Twitter users tweeting that went to Germany, Dokomi? That was like, was that this past weekend? That was like, I don't know. I don't think I saw Japanese people tweeting about it. I know I saw people, people not in Japan tweeting about it. I know somebody was complaining about, big props. It was this weekend. Did you go? Did you go? Big what? Props. Like, when people have, like, big swords with their cosplay and stuff. Apparently there was... Because apparently there is rules about, like, how big your stuff is supposed to be. But apparently from what I was hearing, it wasn't like particularly well enforced. So when you would try to like go into like vendors hall and stuff or like any kind of crowded place, it's like, okay, now you're fighting for space with like someone's like giant Final Fantasy sword. Yeah, somebody on Twitter was complaining about prop weapons and people stepping on cosplay dresses. Yeah, I mean, I think stepping on dresses is just like kind of an inevitability of having a long dress at a convention. Like, unless people are going out of their way to do it. But yeah, I guess if it is crowded enough, it does make it hard to move around in cosplay. Dokumi started as a cosplay convention in 2009 and grew a little. Ah, okay. I was not aware of like the Dokumi lore. But like that would explain why there's all these people there with giant swords though. Like a larger than average amount of people with giant swords at a convention. I still haven't decided what I want to wear for Off-Kai. Like, I know for sure I'll wear at least, like, one Lolita cord, but I haven't decided which one. And I kind of want to wear... I don't know, part of me wants a cosplay, but part of me is like, can I put anything together in time? It's between Anime Los Angeles and New York Comic Con in size, so it would be the second largest con in the US. Oh, like if it was in the US. Well, because, like, I feel like it's the biggest con I hear about happening in Europe. Like, I know there are other conventions, but I feel like that's the one I hear about the most. But I don't know if it's because it's actually the biggest, or if it's just because, like, it has more international visitors compared to other ones, maybe. Like, if you have, like, more, like, you know, Americans going to Dokumi compared to, like, other conventions in France. Japan Expo's bigger. Is that one in France? Question mark? Does UK have any big ones? Yeah, Dokumi might be the most internationally minded convention in Europe. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Like, because I feel like I hear about more, and like, to be fair, I actually had never heard of Dokumi before I got into VTubers. Like, I feel like, I didn't really think, like, I knew that there were anime conventions in other parts of the world before I was VTubing, but I just never really gave much thought to them, because I always thought, I'm like, I don't really have a reason to go to that. We have conventions here, and they're perfectly fine. But I guess, like, after VTubing, I feel like, yeah, the first time I heard of Dokumi was because I was like, there was some VTubers who were from Europe, and they're like, I'm a guest at Dokumi, and I'm like, ah, what's that? Yeah, you would have heard of Dokumi before 2020, I feel. Well, yeah, because, like, I guess, again, like, we have more than enough conventions in Canada, and if you're bored with the ones in Canada, then you would go to the US, right? I feel like there wasn't a lot of people who were traveling, like, you know, overseas, like, over the actual ocean to go to a convention. I feel like that wasn't very common until recently. Is Insomnia the big UK, or is it a bunch of places have Comic-Con? MCM London is smaller and about the size of New York Comic-Con. What is the biggest convention, like, in general, for anime? Is it Anime Expo? Like, for anime specifically, not for, like, Comic-Cons. AX, okay, so it is Anime Expo. It is actually Anime Expo. 400K visitors over 4 days. Are you kidding me? Sorry, not about that, but it was about my tiles. It was about my tiles. Nah. That's what I get for discarding Dora. But I guess it's also just because I guess VTubing, like... Because, like, I guess when it comes to Canadian conventions, right, the only two countries that matter are, like, Canada and Japan, and then, like, maybe the US. But now I think with VTubing, because it's kind of, like, a global thing, And because, I guess, especially with English VTubing, right? Like, English is spoken in so many places, so I suppose I'm exposed to, like, a lot more VTubers from different places. Hiya, Eggy in chat. Hello, Linkstorm. Hi. They do have big convention spaces if needed, though they will connect multiple buildings for that if a single convention center. What, for US cons? It's like, I don't know, I think MagFest is probably, in terms of like pure size, is probably still the biggest I've been to. We are now arguing over the definition of convention center. Anime North has entered the chat. The Toronto Congress Center has entered the chat. Purely in space terms, US conventions can rent multiple buildings in close proximity that do have walkways, or you can rent a bunch of you can rent a bunch of buildings that don't have walkways between them, and then just make everybody walk a ridiculously long way. Doesn't change title. If I change the title, it's gonna cut the VOD into pieces. Because Twitch doesn't understand the idea of changing something without changing everything. Betrayal. I'm sorry. We're having this while there's like this entire argument happening in the background about the definition of a convention center. I change my titles all the time. Never once has Twitch split my bot. I don't know. Maybe it's if you take it offline. I feel like if I change my title, sometimes it like maybe it doesn't do that anymore. I definitely remember changing the title at some point, and it got split into a new piece of VOD. But again, maybe that's something that used to happen, but not anymore. Your next star just got kicked down the to-do list. Oh no, I'm gonna have to... Now I need to, like, do something really spectacular to get myself back up to the top priority. I need to get back to being the top priority. Have to work very hard. I have to do 1 billion streamings and release 1,000 covers. Man, I want to sing. I want to sing. Like, not like now, but like, I feel like lately it's like I want to keep making covers, but I come back from work and my voice is like tired. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I can do it on weekends. But then on weekends, my brain is tired. Apparently, it's impossible to have both my voice and my brain having correct amounts of energy for singing at once. I've been trying to like usually sometimes if I'm just like doing dishes or something, I'll like do vocal warm-ups so that I'm like, it's not like I forget how to sing, but it's like to be able to actually set time aside to like properly record something. I'm like, because I guess for me, it's like with recording, it's like taking a picture of your voice, right? Like if you're going to have a nice picture taken, you want to like, you know, you want to do it at a time when you feel like you look your best, right? Popular character Now from Apologetic Diaries. Now. How was work? It's fine. Today was fine. Friday was a bit stressful because my coworker called in sick, so then like a bunch of stuff that she was supposed to do got put on me, and I went ah. But today was okay. Today was normal. Not really normal. It wasn't normal, but it was okay. I wonder sometimes how anyone gets anything done with a full-time job. I wonder how I used to, even. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's like... It's not... I mean... Like, in the literal sense, I do have less time now, right? Like, many hours of my day are occupied by doing things that are not the things I would necessarily be actively choosing to do, right? But on the other hand, it's like, okay, it's not like I have no time, because I've experienced having no time. I've experienced that. And this is not that, right? Good evening, Eggy. Happy Mahjong Monday. Hello, Taishi. Good evening. It's called crying. Because, like, it's not like I have no time. It's just that, like, I have to really, like... I have to, like, really, like, structure my time better, I guess. Which, I don't know, I guess I'm better at that now than I give myself credit for. It's just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I could have more time for, like, recording and doing VTuber stuff, but then I would have to give up, like, exercising, you know? It's like, yeah, I could go to the gym every day, but then I'd have to give up on all my other hobbies. And there's even some hobbies, like, I want to do more knitting, but it's like, to be able to actually sit down and knit, I feel hasn't happened in a little bit. Yeah, it helps when your commute isn't hours long. Yeah, because that's, well, also too, it's very consistent. That's another thing that I'm enjoying right now, is how consistent things are. Because I think it's easier to both, like, plan out your life and also, I guess, live a healthy lifestyle when things are consistent. Because that was the thing I've noticed. I think one of the reasons, aside from, like, you know, people constantly bringing donuts into the office, one of the reasons I think why I gained a lot of weight when I was working a few years ago was because, like, the commute was so long, but it was also long in a way that was really inconsistent. So it was very difficult to, like, actually eat for a normal amount, right? Because, like, right now, it's like, okay, I wake up every day at the same time. I eat breakfast at the same time. I eat lunch at the same time every day. But I'm also eating dinner roughly at the same time every day because I'm able to get home at roughly the same time every day, right? So I'm not like... It's not like I'm like eating lunch and being like, okay, will I eat dinner in 6 hours? Will I eat it in 7 hours? Will I eat... Am I going to be eating dinner at like 8 p.m.? Like... It's really, it became kind of like that, right? Where it's very difficult to maintain a diet. And also too, like, if you misestimate, it's like, okay, now I'm really hungry and now it's really hard to, like, get myself to eat a smaller portion because I've been, like, starving for the entire day. Does your commute have multiple stops? I do transfer buses a couple times, yeah. But it's consistent, that's the thing. Like, unless there's something out of the ordinary. No! Not even hard enough to kill me. Okay, well, never mind, it did kill me. Never mind, it killed me and I'm dead. I'm dead now. Okay. But yes, congratulations, Zully. Thank you, Lavi and X-Rock, for playing. Ugh. I am Zhong. I am Zhongin tonight. But yes, no, there is multiple stops. I do transfer a few times, but it's consistent, right? Unless there's like some massive traffic construction accident holdup somewhere, the bus usually comes at pretty consistent times. So yeah, I feel like it's the range of time when I get home is very consistent, as opposed to like previous job where it was like entirely down to highway traffic, which is, you know, based on the whims of highway traffic. So yeah, bring an iPad or interface on microphone, record on the bus. Just get the go and find like the best like background noise reducer you can find. Okay, time to prepare for bed. Go to sleep. You already got your Zhong win. Go to sleep. Quit while you're ahead. Go to bed while you're ahead. Also, hello Buick. Good evening. But yeah, routine is nice. It's good to have routine after a while of having no routine, really. Alright, everybody's ready. Let's begin. But yeah. Time management, what's that? I don't know, I'm a little better with it, I think, now. But also, I have more time and it's more consistent. I will probably be typing for like 20 more minutes, but I will have my teeth brushed. It's progress. It's progress. Oh, you know what I found the other day? Because I remember a while back I was complaining about how it feels like for kids' toothpaste, there's like a bigger variety of flavors, whereas for adults' toothpaste, it's like mint and like a different kind of mint. But I found the other day, it's still minty, but like at Shoppers Drug Mart, I found watermelon flavored toothpaste. And like, it's not that good, but I can appreciate the attempt. I will continue buying it because I appreciate the attempt of like bringing kids, like kids' toothpaste flavors to adult toothpaste. Just for the sake of variety, you know? You know you can use kids' toothpaste, right? Yeah, but like, isn't it like not as good for your teeth compared to like... Cause like, isn't kids' toothpaste like designed with the idea in mind that like children, like their baby teeth are going to fall out anyway? I enjoy my spearmint toothpaste. They call it spearmint because you feel like you're being stabbed. Like, I don't know, there's definitely toothpaste, it's not all of them, but like there's definitely been toothpaste that I've tried before where I finish brushing my teeth and like I breathe in and I go, ow! Because it's like, the mint is like so aggressively fresh that it makes me go, ow, 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 ow. You can just have adult toothpaste with watermelon flavor and normal fluoride levels. Yeah, I think that's what the one I bought is, pretty much. Like, it really does taste like the watermelon ones that I had as a kid. But I imagine, yeah, it's formulated with adults in mind. They also had a peach flavor. I might pick that one up if it goes on sale. Because that one I don't remember having as a kid. That one is new. There we go. Now I'm winning. Not by much, but I'm winning. But yeah, yummy toothpaste. That is not mint. But yeah, no, I do feel sometimes it's like you're an adult, you don't get to have other flavors anymore. Eat the painful mint. Midol, over-counter pill advertised exclusively as a woman's medicine for dealing with period discomfort. It's completely okay to take as a man as a painkiller and caffeine to get you over the hump of the day. Why is it advertised only half the population? I think it's because, I guess, here's the thing. When it comes to period cramps, in my experience, every other painkiller is so ineffective on period cramps. And I think that's why Midol gets advertised that way, because it's one of the only ones that like actually does anything, in my experience. I don't know. I guess though, I don't usually take painkillers for that. I just like complain. I don't take medicine for it, I just complain. I don't know if that's a valid strategy. Do they just take a painkiller and drink a cup of coffee? I don't know, it's like something about like whatever they use for like Tylenol or Advil. Advil apparently is like especially ineffective for that, but Sorrow shared is half a sorrow. Because I don't know, I think for me it's because like with cramps it's like, yeah, I could take a painkiller. The problem is that like, you know, you can't really predict when it's going to happen, right? So sometimes it's like, I will wake up in the morning and be normal, and then I will like go to work, and then I will go ow, 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 right? And it's like, I can't really plan for that, and half the time when it happens, it's like, I don't really have anything on me that could help, so all I can do is complain, right? And go ow, 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 right? And then, I don't know, sometimes also too, I feel like it usually only lasts a few hours. So it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I guess it's sort of the same with headaches, right? It like comes and goes. So sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, should I really take medication for something that's going to like disappear on its own in like an hour or two? I don't know, it's weird. I guess I'll take painkillers for headaches, but yeah, when it comes to cramps, I'm just like, I don't know. There's part of me that's just like, this isn't necessary. I am stronger than this. I shouldn't do that, but like, I do. I think it's interesting sometimes. Is there like an intrinsic difference in men's and women's vitamins? I looked at the label, it's just less vitamins for women. Woman taxes. Wait, like, are women's multivitamins literally just like less vitamin per vitamin? I don't know. I thought it was like a different blend of vitamins. Which I don't think would make a difference, because it's not like... I mean, unless it's like... I'm trying to think if it's like a situation, because I don't think men and women are different enough in terms of like composition to need different vitamins. Like, unless it's like a prenatal one, right? Maybe that would need something different. Yeah, it doesn't have like hormones or anything, it's just dose size, yeah. Wait, are the women's ones just smaller? It's the same thing, but smaller? I mean, I guess maybe the idea is like, oh, women need less because women are smaller and on average and need less of everything per day. Which, I don't know. Doubt. Meanwhile, a lot of male products are edgy. You can always tell when a product is being marketed towards men when it comes to like any kind of like skincare, hair care, because it's always in black and gray bottles. It's really funny. Like, at least, I don't know if it's the same in every country, but at least here, it's like, you go into like the shampoo aisle, and there will be like, all the shampoo bottles will either be like white or they'll be like some other color, right? Except for the men's section. There'll be a section that's called like men's, and it will have nothing but just black and gray bottles. Like, it's specifically, for some reason, we've decided that these are the manly colors. Male makeup to make you look strong. Honestly, yeah, you could sell makeup to men if you marketed it right, I think. You need male makeup to get strong men. Well, here's the thing. I think that there's a lot of things that I think are easily solvable with makeup that I think guys never think about because they never think about putting on makeup. Like, I've had guys ask me before, they're like, is there a way to get rid of dark circles? And the answer is like, not really, aside from like, you know, sleep more and be healthier. Or wear concealer. Like, that's the only two ways. But I'm sure if somebody like made like a concealer marketed towards men, I think that would sell, like as an under-eye concealer. Because, like, under-eye concealer is one of those things that I feel is, like, relatively easy to learn to do, because it's not like trying to cover a pimple, right? Like, it's just... I feel like it's easier to learn to do it under the eyes than it is to do it, like, over specific spots, but yeah. Concealer to hide your poor sleep schedule? Yeah, exactly, like, you could easily market those. I'm curious how I would look with concealer. I mean, probably the same as you look without concealer, but just, like, I guess a little less tired? I guess also maybe a little... I don't think flatter is the correct way. I guess it's only really flatter if you, like, use it wrong. Because, like, that's the one thing with, like, foundation and concealer is that, like, your face will, like, your blemishes and dark circles and stuff will be covered, but at the expense of also losing some, like, color and dimension to your face. Like, that's the reason why everybody puts on blush after putting on, like, I am actually out here putting on foundation to cover up how red my cheeks are, and then I'm putting on blush to make my cheeks look red again. Because, like, if you completely neutralize everything in the face, you look like you're made out of clay. So that's why you gotta add all the stuff back in. But, like, if you're just putting concealer, like, if you're just spot treating, like, if you're just doing, like, under eyes and then, like, maybe over a few pimples, like, it's not really... I feel like that's not gonna take away the dimension. Yeah, reject branding. Men and women can do what they want. If you want to use male products, use male products. If you want to use female products, to get those. Yeah, well, yeah, it's also the thing of, like, you know, how, like, they say, like, women's razors are more expensive, which is true. Like, I know many women who would, like, shave their legs. Are you kidding me? Like, shave their legs with, like, men's razors because it's cheaper compared to, like, women's razors. Having said that, I wouldn't be buying makeup because I would be like Band-Aid on a plane crash. I don't know, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at how little you need to make, like, a noticeable improvement. I have not seen Star Trek, so I cannot argue for and against this, but I think, yeah, you understand what I'm talking about. I need to condition my hair. Why? To make it stronger to handle shampoo washing so I can condition shampoo to condition. No, you're thinking about it all wrong. You're thinking about it all wrong. Think of it more like, detergent and fabric softener. Like, the shampoo is the laundry detergent. It's the thing that's actually making it clean. But the softener makes it soft. Like, it makes it makes the texture kind of nicer. That's what that's for. That's what that's for. See, I also think that, like, if you have short hair, conditioner might not be totally necessary for you. But if you have long hair, you will very quickly learn why conditioner is necessary. Because for me, like, if I wash my hair but I don't use conditioner, my hair is, like, especially when it was long, it would be, like, borderline unbrushable without conditioner. Hi, Eggy, can I join? Yes! I mean, not, like, now because we're in the middle of a game, but yes! The code is pinned, anybody is allowed to join. Anybody. I mean, I guess you have to have a Mahjong Soul account, which I guess a lot of people don't. I feel like most male shampoo just includes conditioner. Is it like the, are you talking like the 2-in-1 kind of thing? I don't know, 2-in-1 is like kind of the, for me, it's like kind of the, like, you know the thing of like never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing? That's how I feel with like 2-in-1. 15-in-1. Cause yeah, I mean, I think the only time that I've used 2-in-1 are like if I go to like a hotel and I forget to bring shampoo and like that's the only one that they have. I've never missed conditioner. How long is your hair? Because again, I feel like if your hair has never been longer than like a couple inches, then I feel like conditioner might be you're right, conditioner might be a little redundant in that case. But if you have hair that's like long enough that you could, you know, it's long enough that it's subject to gravity, then yeah, that's different. My hair has been shoulder length before. Did you use conditioner? Currently approaching that again? I suggest conditioner. You will thank me. You will use it and you will understand. You will thank the wise egg. You will thank the wise eggy who told you you should probably use conditioner. I think 2-in-1 that is shampoo and body wash as if the hair is the same as skin. I mean, technically there's nothing stopping you from like washing your body with shampoo. Like, I know I've done that at least once or twice when, like, I was out of shampoo. Or when I was out of soap. Yeah, use conditioner for any hair length. Yeah, but like, the longer your hair is, the more important it gets. Also, when you use conditioner, make sure to only put it on the tips of the hair. Do not put it at the roots, because then your hair will be greasy, and you'll be like, why is my hair greasy? And it's because you're putting the grease there. I think I was using Head and Shoulders, and the default for that is a 2-in-1. I don't know, I have never particularly liked Head and Shoulders. Whoa! That is a good animation. That was a lot of swinging around. But yes, congratulations, Taishi. And thank you to Buick and Mechlam. This one was much shorter than the first one, I think. Good game. Good game. Thank you for playing. Very summer. Very summer. Ah, so summer. So summer. I think I was using, but yeah. Air conditioner is a hair care cosmetic product used to improve the feel, texture, and manageability of hair. Yes. Okay, yeah, so I didn't brush my hair. You should probably brush your hair. I recommend brushing your hair. Unless you're like one of those people with like the really like frizzy, curly, like wavy hair. I know some people don't brush their hair for like good reasons. Like people with curly hair often don't brush their hair because like sometimes it's like, why brush out a well-defined curl when you, like if you brush it, it just goes poof. Just goes poof. Wait, what's that highlight? Which highlight? Have you seen those tables that self-shuffle in Mahjong Tile? Oh, the auto tables? I've never played with one, but I have seen them, yes. Yes, does short hair need conditioner? Yes, but less so than long hair, I'd say. Friendship Ender. Oh, yeah, oh, the random, like, achievements that you can get. I think they reset every day. Yeah, I'm frizzy curly and it looks worse if I do. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Because, yeah, my hair is... I don't know what my hair is anymore. I used to think I had, like, frizzy hair when I was younger. I don't know if my hair changed over time, like if the texture of my hair changed over time, or if it was just like I got better at taking care of it. Because like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, my hair's always so frizzy. And then like as I got older, I'm like, oh, my hair's so flat. And then now I'm like, okay, my hair is like, I guess it's wavy. Like it doesn't hold curls, but it also doesn't fall flat either. It's default hair. I'm like somewhere in the middle. Your hair must be smells good. I mean, I do wash it with some regularity. Yeah, sometimes I comb and then the next step in the process is to shake my head like a wet dog. Do you use a blow dryer? Because I also find that my hair is completely different if I blow dry it versus if I don't. Like if I blow dry it, usually my hair is straighter. But like if I don't blow dry it, then it's like, has kind of like a poof poof to it. Yeah, we might be similar hair type, Eggy, because I'll be straight by the end and it'll just curl up and I don't know why. Yeah, for me it's like mine is like, it's like straight except when it isn't. Like, even when I dry it, I feel, I don't know, I feel like my hair is very good at staying in the exact way that it was when it dried. Unfortunately, I have to be really, really careful about how it dries for that exact reason. It was like, yes, if I blow dry it in a specific way, it will stay that way. Unfortunately, that means I have to really make sure I blow dry it in a specific way. Thoughts on blow dryer or air drying? I find, pros and cons. Like, obviously, if I air dry my hair, it's because I don't want to blow dry it because I'm tired. But I find that, also with my hair, like, the texture when it dries naturally is a lot wavier. Which is cute in some ways, but I also have way less control over Like, I have way less control over how it dries, right? But on the other hand, I find that if I blow dry, I don't know, something about my scalp being wet just makes it grosser for longer. So I find that, like, blow drying my hair makes it stay cleaner for longer. Also, welcome Golden Mustaches, welcome. Like, I'm sure there's probably some science to it, but yeah, I find the faster my scalp gets dry, the cleaner my hair will stay for a bit. But yeah, I also have pretty thick hair. I have the kind of hair where, like, my mom had to start paying for, like, adult haircuts when I was, like, 8. Which is, I think, younger than the average for, like, when people start paying for adult haircuts for children. But it also means my hair's pretty heavy. Like, I remember, like, being in high school and trying to follow, like, hairstyle tutorials. And, like, the person in the tutorial would be like, okay, now take this strand of hair and secure it with a pin. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, a pin? One pin? One measly pin? You think that's going to hold up my hair? You think that's going to hold up, like, this giant chunk of hair that is not a giant chunk on you because your hair is thinner? One pin? Okay, 2. 2? No, I mean, some of the big hairpins would work sometimes for that, but yeah, like, it doesn't work for everything. I also don't like having my hair in, like, one ponytail at the back. Because, like, it can look good sometimes, but, like, it's heavy, right? Especially when it's long. It's very heavy, so usually I'm not a big fan of that, doing that. Keep drawing Eggy with ponytails. Sorry, it's okay. It's okay. Virtually, it doesn't bring me any discomfort. But I find, yeah, like, having, I don't know, I feel like I get, like, headaches from having a ponytail for too long. Which is weird, because I feel like it doesn't happen to the same degree if I do, like, braids or, like, pigtails. Like, twin tails doesn't hurt me in that way, but for some reason, I guess maybe having it all concentrated in one spot does. Her hair is too heavy. It really is when it's long. It really is. Like, I don't know how much my hair weighed when it was at its longest, but, like... Yeah, you a hat person. True. True. Migraine? I don't know. It kind of just feels like a normal headache. And it goes away if I take the ponytail down, so... I must confess, I'm terrible at drawing convincing hair, so I do simple hair like ponytails. I mean, I don't know. To me, drawing hair has always been, like, the most fun part of drawing a person. But I also feel sometimes like when I would draw, I would always, like, unless I had something to work off of, I would always end up on, like, the same hairstyles. You should try to DIY fade. If I mess it up, I shave bald. My mom has been insisting I go to an actual salon and I will finally give in tomorrow. Let's go! I don't know. They're just... I don't know. I don't really do anything other than, like, wash and dry my own hair. And, like, maybe straighten it at home. I don't trust... Lavi, I need you to stop winning. You're gonna get me banned from Twitch. For the good of this channel, we need to all take down Lavi. Yeah, I also enjoy doing the multicolor eyes of Eggy. The egg eyes. Oh, glasses on. This is on. Hello, egg and plant eggs. Hello, Punk Asian. Good evening. Yeah, I mean, line work... I'm trying to remember, because it's been a long time since I've actually, like, drawn anything seriously with, like, multiple layers of stuff. I feel like if anything I've drawn recently has been, like, a doodle. Like, or it's been like something I made when I was like commissioning somebody so I could show like what kind of pose I wanted or something. I feel like it's been a while since I've actually drawn anything seriously. Like, there's nothing stopping me from doing a drawing stream at some point, because I do still have my tablet, like, sitting here on the table plugged in. But at least it's not Ricci City. Have you seen the new outfit reveal? No, but I have heard things. I'm in a rock and a hard place because I got long hair right now and I want to get styled at the barber for the first time in years. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are keeping the integrity of this channel intact. The new outfit got withheld as it crossed a line. Oh, do they have to like go back to the drawing board and like draw on some like... Is it like one of those like we need to add tights or we need to like change the shirt kind of situation? Yeah, Jake, I feel like I'm also somewhat in that similar place where I'm like, I feel like it's only been like, you know what I think it is I feel like the past few times when I've gotten my hair cut, I feel like the stylist is too cowardly with taking away some length. I feel like the stylists I go to, I think some of them might be concerned about people complaining about them cutting it too short. Because I deal with this a lot for bangs, where I'm like, I'm okay with my bangs being a little too short when I get them done for the first, like, initially. Because I'm like, okay, well, it's going to grow back fairly quickly. And I would rather have them a little too short, but then not have to, like, come back every 2 weeks. But I feel like a lot of stylists, I guess they've maybe been burned too many times by customers asking for things and then getting mad when they do the things, so... Opens the announcement on Steam. Are we gonna elaborate? The Vague Post King is banned from Eggy Chat, okay? The Vague Post King is not allowed here. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah. Now go to sleep and don't elaborate. The Vague Post King. I adhere to a bedtime, but I will not tell you when it is. I also don't really know what kind of cut I want. That's fair. I think also too, like, right before, like, a big occasion where everyone's going to be taking a lot of pictures is maybe not, like, necessarily the best time to be experimenting with a new look. Understandable. One pose is her in a receptive position. Ah. Hold on. I'm gonna open this up. Open link. Hold on. Let me move this to this side so I can keep playing. Oh! Yeah, okay. I see what you mean, I see what you mean. That wasn't a vague pose, that was a reaction. Oh. Huh? Huh? And it's live 2D. Okay, so it has it. New outfit. Oh, is this like an outfit for an existing character? I don't know. I'm just like looking at all these characters and it's like, where does this fit in with that? Good lord. Okay, see, I'm glad all of you, the rest of you, are looking at this, so it's not a vague post anymore. My mom cuts my hair, and I always wanted to keep my bangs longer because otherwise they risk sticking up. I always insist they be cut shorter because otherwise it gets in my eyes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also too of like, I'm in a position sometimes where I'll just get my bangs redone if I'm between haircuts. But I feel like if the rest of your hair is also short, then like that's not really an option, right? It's like you gotta get them done or you don't get them done, right? How can she play Mahjong like that? Exactly! Live 2D means people can drive it as Avatar, right? Not with like face tracking. It just means it has animations as opposed to just being an illustration. Been a while since I played Mahjong. I only played on my cell phone though. I mean, here we are playing it on a computer. This is probably the same way you were playing it too. But yes, welcome Silver Pie. Yeah, they showed what she was capable of over the weekend and took down the post as it was far too risky. Yeah. Such a powerful announcement that Mahjong Soul had to announce an EGGY rerun. Yeah. Live 2D for VTubing is more of an outlier. Yeah. Live 2D is actually really commonly used for a lot of mobile games because I guess it's like kind of a lightweight alternative to 3D models, but you can still have some like animation in your sprites. I think technically, I guess if you had like the files for it, you could in theory load it into VTube Studio, but because it's not really built for face tracking, it would probably run really jankily. I heard of people trying to do that a few years ago with like people would import models from like Bang Dream or Project Sekai, and they would try and use that, and like apparently like I don't think I ever saw one, and apparently it was like extremely illegal to do that because it was like, you know, the only way to get those files is to like extract them straight from the game. But yeah, I can't imagine they would move too well because they're not really built for face tracking, right? Like they're built for like limited animations and for having a couple different expressions, right? They're not built for like moving around like so. Yeah, I have 30 polls and 325 face day. I'm not letting EGGY escape me once again. Am I gonna be stuck with like even more people going run, run, run? Am I going to become a person that's gonna go run, run, run? Absolutely. Oh man. Hey, Egg, you played some of Project Sekai Story. Yes, but I played it in Japanese on the Japanese server. So if you ask me questions about it, I might not be able to answer them because my Japanese at the time was not that good. Do you remember the little animation where the characters look left and right and left again? Maybe? I guess, yeah, they do. Some of them do shake their heads a little bit. I'm trying to remember if Project Sekai animations were one of those things where like all the characters had the same animations, or if there was any ones that were like specific to specific characters. No! We let Lavi win again. We can't do this. We can't keep doing this. I need somebody to get like 1 billion points this round. They're so proud of it, they use it again, and whenever someone enters and looks for a different character, just when they're just confused. I also don't know, maybe, was it added later? Because I'm trying to remember, because I played it, like, when it just dropped. Like, this is, like, 2020. Like, it was, like, absolutely, like, fresh out of the oven. So I don't know if they had, like, all the animations in there yet. But I also haven't touched it in, like, a really long time. But yeah, no, most live 2D, I imagine most game live 2Ds is probably not very well built for face tracking. And like similarly, I feel like if you put a VTuber model, like if you just drop the live 2D straight into a game, I also feel like it would not hold up especially well. Like I feel like even for like mobile games that have had like VTubers featured in them, I feel like they probably made like a custom model for the game, right? Because like again, VTubers are designed to move differently. Speaking of things I don't understand, I've been really rocking out to Teto, and I'm afraid of making me a hipster like, Miku, how mainstream. I listen to Teto, you wouldn't know her. No, I think Teto is it's not a hipster thing anymore. Maybe like 3-4 years ago, before the Synth V version dropped, maybe. Definitely not now. Definitely not now. So sad they didn't add the Phase Girls to Mahjong Soul during their Mahjong Soul collab. Have they added any VTubers to Mahjong Soul, like in general? Because like I feel like any of the Zhong games, has there been any VTubers in any Zhong game? Has that happened yet? Probably. No, but someone has to be first. Yeah. Because like, yeah, I don't know who would be the first, and I don't know like which VTubers it would be. I feel like it's one of those things that I think would actually be more likely to be Niji Sanji than to be Hololive. Or even Face Connect. But yeah, it's gotta be someone. I was gonna say yes, but it wasn't a Zhong game. Like, I know there's like a bajillion mobile games that have VTubers in them. I want Eggy in Mahjong Soul, but I want Eggy in that new costume. What? Illegal. Illegal. Harassment. Illegal. I remember Azur Lane had kids now. Yeah, well didn't, was it Azur Lane? Somebody had Hololive, like, way back when. Like, 2019. Man! We let Lavi win, and now my channel's gonna die forever. I'm gonna get reported to Twitch police. They're gonna take me away in handcuffs for zhonging. But thank you for playing. Thank you for playing. Thank you too. I was trying so hard to get it. I was trying so hard to finish the game so it wouldn't be on the screen. Hold on, trying to find. I know there's a way. There's a way to find the most recent games. Hold on. And friendly match. Detailed info. Oh, that's for ranked. For friendly. Okay. Here we go. Wait, it doesn't tell me who. Others. 9 friendship enders. That's that's Sanma. Oh, that's for Sanma. But I mean friendly matches. Oh wait, no, it's here. I think. Oh, here we go. Oh wait, no, this is. Oh wait, no. Why am I in Sanma? Here we go. There we go. Thank you, Alto and Denny and Lavi for playing. There we go. The one on the right. Yeah, because I was like looking at the names. I'm like, it's been a while, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a while since I played Sanma. I think it's been over a year since I played Sanma. They have Hololive Girls in Disgaea 6, but they use custom colors of existing generic characters. Wait, how does that work? Are they just like a recolor? Like they're like, this is like Fubuki, but we just took an existing character that sort of looks like Fubuki, and then we made her white. So that she looks more like Fubuki? Is it like that kind of thing? Because, like, I'm trying to think. I know, Bang Dream, both Bang Dream and D4DJ both had, Hololive in it at one point or another. But also, like, those are both, like, Bushiroad games, so it's not surprising that Hololive made its way in there. trying to think if there's anything else that I actually play that has had VTubers in it. Like, canonically. Do any of the Hologirls play Zhong? I feel like in my collab there's any interest from a talent. I think they have Zhonged in the past. I think it was one of those things where I think they might have lost perms at some point for it. But yeah, it was some arcade game, had a collab with Nene, it was some touch dance thing, my friend... Yes! Oh yeah, I did play that. I did play that one, actually, when I was in Japan, the one with Nene in it. My review of it is that it's, like, weirdly intimate. Maybe I was just weirdly sad and lonely at the time, but it was, like, weirdly intimate. Because, like, when you start the game, right, they have you adjust your height, mostly to make sure that you're going to be able to, like, actually, like, hit all the circles so that you're not, like, getting stuff that's, like, out of range for you. But what happens, the result is that, like, Nene was, like, right at eye level with me. Like, I'm, like, playing this game, but at the same time, I'm, like, staring right into her eyes, and I'm like, this is more intimate than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, recently they did a Mahjong Soul tournament with Aki Rose and Roboco. Okay, yeah, so they do have it again. Yeah. Previously they had a collab with Sega's Mahjong Client where Mio and some of the early gens participated. Yeah, it seems like I guess they don't seem to have like one designated genre. And they also don't seem to be particularly loyal to like one specific platform to do it on, I guess. But also like, I think that might also just be like a Japan versus everything else thing, because like, there is like 1 bajillion digital Mahjong games in Japan, right? Whereas it seems that like, I feel like outside of Japan, people kind of stick to the same few. Yeah, I think Fubuki was the sole exception, and she was a penguin called Fubuking. But Flare was like an evil elf general type girl, and Watame was like a big fluffy sheep monster. Okay, and then they just like recolored it, so it's like, haha, this is Watame now. Yeah, Clubhouse 51 Zhong. Yeah, there was a Clubhouse 51 holo collab with Kiara. Yeah, but like Clubhouse 51 is like, usually when people do collabs for that, it's like a few different ones, right? People will do like chess or... like, they're not there specifically for the Zhong. The Zhong. I guess maybe Zhong is also one of those things too where you need 4 people. Like, as opposed to something that's like one-on-one. It's like, no, you need to have 4 people available at the same time. So I guess maybe from a planning standpoint, Zhong might not be like the most advantageous thing compared to like other multiplayer. They had a full Zhong stream, I think. I think it was like Ina trying to teach the other EN members. I don't remember this. Did I miss it? The VOD still exists, right? For that one. Because, like, yeah, if it was, like, really early on, I might have missed it. It was in Clubhouse 51. Yeah, Ina VODs exist. Yeah, well, like, yes, I know... Nina My Inani's channel continues to exist, but, like, if the specific VOD for it still exists. I should not be Sleppy. It makes logical sense that I'm Sleppy, but I personally believe I should not be Sleppy. If you don't find links, found it. Yeah, links are allowed. They're not banned. Because, like, I know that there's, like, some VODs from early on that I think for games that they lost perms for later, that they took down. Like, I think, didn't Gura have, like, what game? It was a rhythm game. There's a Gura VOD that disappeared because, like, I guess the developers of the Muse Dash, thank you. Yeah, like they like retroactively like, they, like, retracted perms retroactively, so they had to, like, take down the VODs of it being played as well. That could have been copyright, too. That's true as well for rhythm games, I guess, like music. Music is its own beast. Yeah, it's like an hour Zhong and 20 minutes of legally distinct Uno. Remember when Uno was like the thing people would collab with? I don't know, Uno was like a weird era. Now that I think of it, I'm like... Because, like, what are the common collab games nowadays? I feel like it's like... I'm trying to think of, like, which game really changed it. Because I feel like there was, like... If I don't have Uno on my Xbox. Because, like, I feel like there was, like... Specifically for Corpo. Yeah, maybe Uno was just something that they had perms for, and that's why they just kept playing it if they didn't know what else to do. Because I'm trying to remember, because, like... Yeah, I guess maybe now there's a lot more games that are, like, easy yap with a game in the background. I guess that's the whole point of Friend Slop, right? But I guess that was kind of like... I mean, I don't know. What would you guys consider to be the first Friend Slop game? Like, the one that you could, like, definitely say, like, this has that specific vibe. No. Go Fish, Among Us. No, but you see, I don't think Among Us is Friend Slop. I don't think Among Us is Friend Slop because I feel like it has to be co-op to be Friend Slop. Phasmo is too old? Phasmo? Well, Phasmo might be Friend Slop. Like proto-Friend Slop. Is it Enemy Slop? I don't know. I think not all party games are Friend Slop. I think in order for something to be Friend Slop, it needs to be cooperative. Because, like, yeah, Among Us is a game you play with your friends, but you're not playing with your friends. You're playing, like, against your friends. Like, in fact, like, a surprising amount of time in Among Us is spent specifically not speaking to the other players, right? I think that makes it inherently not Friend Slop, right? Lethal Company before it was called Slop? I mean, I'm using slop as a neutral term here. Like, I guess the definition I'm going for is like, okay, a co-op multiplayer game that is designed, I guess, accessibly and is priced inexpensively in order to be able to be something that people can easily purchase and pick up and play with their friends. I guess that's my definition. That's the definition I'm running with. Dota? I thought Dota was competitive, though. I feel like if it's competitive, then it's like inherently not Friend Slop. Because then everybody becomes enemies. It's enemy slop. Casual Crashers fits that? Maybe, that's true. Yeah, it's team versus team. I don't know, maybe it's like one of those things of like, you know how they have that classification in fiction of like man versus man, man versus environment, like man versus society. I feel like it's one of those things where like, I feel like Friend Slop is definitely more man versus environment and less man versus man. Because, like, I think of stuff like Lethal Company. Like, to me, that feels more like man versus environment. Because, like, what you're fighting, you're not fighting against your friends. You're fighting alongside your friends to, like, survive the situation you are being put in, right? Man versus egg. Yeah, that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening. That's a conflict that's going on in Mahjong Soul currently. Yeah, I agree with like a man versus environment with Peak in that one camper game. Yeah. It's like you're not competing against the other players. You're trying to survive. It is more of like a man versus environment thing. Or I guess men, since it's multiplayer. Is Mario Party? I wouldn't say Mario Party either, because like I think party games are a separate thing. Because party games are also man versus man. Like that is the central conflict of Mario. The central conflict of Mario Party is man versus man. Would that make Overcooked friend slop? You know what? Maybe, yeah. You know what? I'd say so. I'd say so. I've lost the question. What do you think is what would you consider to be the first friend slop game? Like using the definition that we have established here. Mario Party's friendship ending, not friend. Yeah, it can't be friend slop if you're not friends anymore by the end. Oh, I know. What do you got? Left 4 Dead? That one's still competitive though, even though you're in teams, right? I've never actually played Left 4 Dead. You're probably right. You know what? I think another element of friend slop though is also that it's something that you specifically play with people that you already know, right? Because that's the other thing with something like Among Us, right? Yeah, there are people who played Among Us with their friends, but there's also like, you know, random Among Us lobbies that you can go into, right? So I feel like in that kind of case, it's like, okay, yes, it's a friends game, but also it works just as well if you play it with random people. Whereas like I feel like something like Peak would not really work if you don't know the people you're playing with. But you can get to know them. I don't know. Is the point of friend slop to make new friends, or is it to like strengthen your existing bonds? William Faulkner said, the only story worth telling is a man in conflict with his own heart. By that definition, Mario Party is a story of trying to tamper the evil in your own heart by stealing hearts, stars, coins. Man versus his own greed. Man versus Yoshi. Oh, like Rock Band is super friend slop. Yeah, I guess, yeah, like multiplayer rhythm games where you're not like up against each other. I played Peak with streamers, and while that is technically is reinforcing relationships, it's also forging new ones. I guess, yeah. Just Dance? What other party games is there, though? I'm trying to think other than Mario Party. Because, I don't know, I'm like, I know Mario Party probably wasn't the first party video game, but like, I feel like every other party video game I can think of is just like trying to copy Mario Party. Jackbox? Yeah, you know what? Okay, maybe Jackbox. Like, yeah, you're right in the sense that, like, Jackbox is something that you kind of have to play with your friends, because I think Jackbox is just, like, it's not fun to play Jackbox with strangers. It is objectively not fun to do so. Like, I feel like trying to play Jackbox with strangers would actually be, like, really uncomfortable because you have no idea what the other people are comfortable with or find funny. Agreed, yeah. Because, like, I'm trying to think, like, I've played Jackbox with friends, I've played it with my family, but yeah, I don't think I've ever played it with anybody I didn't already know. Because, like, I just think it would be, like, Tanyao and Yaku High Hands, not fun. Tanyao can be fun if you win. Dokapon Kingdom? Is that the one that's, like, really long, though? Like an RPG? It depends on the game in question. I guess, that's true. Like, the trivia one is probably fine. But, like, any of the ones where it's, like, quick, write a joke, I feel like is going to be, like... I feel like that'd be such a stressful thing to play if you don't know the people very well, because it's not just, like, what... It's not just, like, you know, what will offend them. It's also, like, what will they actually find funny, right? Like... There are just situations where I think I would never think to pull out Jackbox. Can you imagine trying to play Jackbox at, like, a work party? Like, have you ever played Jackbox party games with your life on the line? Dokapon will test your friendship as who has the time for a full run of that in multiplayer. I think, yeah, Beba, Nakaboke, like, Beba and Kengi and Kaji and Kane, they did manage a full run of it once, but, like, yeah, it's like a 40-hour game, right? At that point, just run, like, a D&D campaign. Sounds like a meeting with HR. I know, it's like, I feel like that would be, like, impossible. You can't manage that. There's no good way to do it. I played Risk at a party game and I had the victory card where I had to wipe out the HR ladies team to win. I mean, work party. But, like, I don't know. If she fires you over a game of Risk, then there's probably some kind of legal recourse for that. Last week my team did like a GeoGuessr and they found out I'm cracked at it and they asked why and I didn't have the heart to say I watch VTuber streams of GeoGuessr. I don't know, is GeoGuessr one of those skills that, like, watching VTubers is just going to give you? Like, I feel like it's a bit like how, like, you know how, like, back when I was in high school, if you talk to somebody who knew, like, a suspicious amount about volleyball, I feel like usually it was because they were really into Haikyuu, right? And I feel like, I guess now it's sort of the same with Uma Musume, where it's like, if somebody knows, like, a suspicious amount about horse racing, then it's like, okay, they're into Uma. But, like, I don't know, is there anything that, like, VTubing, if you're, like, suspiciously good at, suspiciously good at GeoGuessr, does that make you a VTuber watcher? Oh, this is not going well for me. Come to think of it, I think someone did actually pull a Jackbox during a work party, but it was one of the drawing games or something. Yeah, I feel like that one's kind of, like, harder to mess up on. I'd say it gives you good ways to, like, narrow down looking for, like, languages or signs. Or... Well, that's just, like, the matter of, like, having watched somebody do it, right? There are plenty of people who are good at GeoGuessrs that are not VTubers. Yeah, some of them watch facecam streamers. I don't know. Is watching Northern Lion gonna make you better at dulls? It's like, yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, other, like, weirdly specific knowledge that, like, gives away, like, what weeb fandom you're in. I guess figure skating and Yuri on Ice, that was a thing for a while of just, like, suddenly everyone knows a lot about figure skating. Alright, congratulations, Ampersandy. I didn't lose this time. I don't know, was that a slow clap? That was like a medium clap. Medium clap. Medium clap for everybody. It's like a golf clap. Well, because, like, you know, this clapping is like slow clap that's like... And then there's like actual applause, right? But I don't know what it was. That was like medium clap. But yes, thank you, Taishi and Punk Asian, for playing, and congratulations, Ampersand. We mentioned the names of slice of life comedy anime from like 2013. You can clock people. I feel like that's more of an age thing, though. That's more of an age thing than like a fandom thing. Like, you can say the words like Yudu Yuri, and that will mean something to some people. But that's just because they were around at the time. Yes and no. I mean, I guess maybe it's also like a curiosity thing. Like, you can be young and be into stuff from a few years back. Why did you activate me? I'm assuming those words meant something to you? For the record, I did not finish it. I think I watched like half of the first season, and I was like, this is really fun, and then I forgot to watch the rest of it. My friend group wanted to get into diving due to Grand Blue, but too expensive. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any hobby that I like thought of picking up. I don't know. I feel like I can't say that there's ever been a hobby that I wanted to pick up because of an anime. Usually it's like I watched an anime about something I was already sort of interested in. Like music and stuff. Like, yeah, I watch a lot of anime about music. But like, I was also interested in music before watching the anime. For me, it's only Mahjong. You watch the Mahjong girl, or maybe not the girls anime, but you watch the Mahjong anime and you're like, yes, I would like to Zhang. That looks great. Go definitely was a result of manga. I already played, but Bochi the Rock got me playing more. I got into Mahjong because of anime. I kind of wanted to do winter camping once. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, was there any hobby that I adopted because of anime? Not specifically, I think. Some idol animes got me trying to dance and then remembering why I didn't dance before. But I feel like that happens to everybody. I think I kind of want to do winter camping once. I see. I know you are a Yudu camp guy. Hey on guitar. Bochi the Rock guitar. Oh my god, I remember seeing this picture on Twitter. And it was like several months after the Bochi the Rock anime finished airing, and it was just like a secondhand instrument store. Like it was like the instruments section of like a book off, hard off place, and it was just like a bajillion of the same guitar, and it's all like the same guitar that Bochi has. It's all like the people who like bought a guitar while the anime was airing and then just kind of lost interest within a few months, and it was all the same model. Yeah, someone has done a lot of snow camping. It's a horrible experience. The only good part is that it makes you grateful to live in a time where houses exist. I mean, to be fair, that's kind of how I feel about, like, most camping, to be honest. Maybe, like, again, I've never been much of an outdoors person, but I feel like the few times I've gone camping, my main takeaway is just kind of like, you know, we built civilization so that we didn't have to do this, you know? Like, we built houses so we didn't have to live in tents. And we built heating so we wouldn't have to be cold. I enjoy summer camping. I don't know, bugs are scary. Bugs are scary. I don't know, bugs themselves aren't scary. I think I just spend too much time fixating on specific things the bugs can do to you. Because, like, I don't know, what is the correct amount of worried to be about, like, ticks and stuff? Especially as somebody who doesn't have pets. Like... Because, like, for me, I'm just like, I don't know what is the correct amount of worried to be about anything anymore. Depends where you live. Well, because, like, I don't know, my area will pull out, like, tick warnings. But the thing is that I don't think I've ever seen a tick in my life. I think when I was in Girl Guides as a kid, we went camping once, and there was another girl in my unit, I think, who saw a tick. But, like, they removed it pretty quickly, like, and it was, like, on top of her clothes, so I don't think she actually got bit or anything. But I did not see the tick with my own eyes. Yeah, foresty areas, yes, no, just wear a hat, you'll be fine. For ticks? I was always told, like, ticks was like a long pants kind of thing. Yeah, in Canada, not very high. Then why do they keep putting out PSAs about it constantly? Yeah. It is more likely than you think. Because, like, I know it's, like, a long grass thing, right? It's a thing in, like, the long grass. From what I've heard. Isn't there a chance for Lyme disease with tick? Yeah, see, that's what I'm worried about more than the actual tick itself. Like, I'm not scared of the bug. I'm scared of, like, whatever the bug is unwillingly or unwittingly carrying. But, like, I don't know what's the correct amount of worry to be about anything anymore. I spend so much time on the internet, like, witnessing people who are worried about everything that I don't actually know what is the correct amount of worry. I don't know what's the correct amount of emotional energy to spend on any given thing anymore. Nova Scotia. Scientists are warning Canadians to get ready for a US tick invasion this year. I mean, I know where I lived before, apparently, was like... Some parts of Canada do have ticks, especially, like, certain parts of Ontario, apparently. Because, like, definitely previous Eggy City, there was, like, a lot more attention given to it. I don't know if it's as much of a problem here, especially, like, if you don't spend a lot of time in, like, nature areas. But... I like the idea of a US tick invasion. Just like the phrasing of that is like they're planning, they're hatching their plan with like their army. They're like building up their like tick offense. They're like building tick factories to make tick weapons. Just like a tiny little tick gun. Or maybe they're more old-fashioned. They're doing like tick horses. And with tick swords. And they have to make these little tiny suits of tick armor. Yeah, that's Red Star and they are in Canada to my knowledge. I don't know, I remember hearing about them being spotted here a few years ago, but I don't know how reliable that like the sources were. And I don't remember if it was like a thing where it's like, this has been confirmed to be spotted here, or if it was like, there is a potential that maybe at some point one of them could surface here. I don't remember if it was which one it was. Always worried about brushing up against some wild parsnips because it messes up your skin. I haven't heard about wild parsnips. I remember when I was in Girl Guides, they were big on talking about poison ivy. I don't know if I've, to this day, I think I've seen poison ivy. I remember they told us about how, like, you can identify poison ivy because, like, the leaf, like, one of the stems is, like, a little longer than the stems on the other two leaves, and the leaves usually comes in threes. Except I realized after that there's like a lot of plants that kind of have that shape, and it's not really helpful to try and identify it like that at all. I don't think I've ever touched poison ivy to this day. Or if I did, I had clothes on, so it didn't really affect me. Yeah, I got destroyed by poison ivy when I was like 9. I'm trying to think, because like I haven't really thought about poison ivy since I was like a kid in Girl Guides. I think that was the last time I ever had to think about poison ivy. But also, I'm like the least outdoors person ever. So like, unless poison ivy is gonna start like sprouting through cracks in the sidewalk, I don't think I'm gonna see a lot of it in the near future. Just don't touch plants. Just don't touch plants. Isn't there like another one? Is it Queen Anne's lace? Or maybe that is maybe that's the same thing as wild parsnips. The ones with like the flowers on them, like the white flowers that one apparently, I don't know, as a kid I thought they were really pretty. As an adult apparently they're like, oh, those are really toxic by the way, and I'm like, oh, really? That's unfortunate. Is it Queen Anne's lace? If it's so toxic, why did they call it something like that? Just don't go touch grass. Just don't go touch grass. Well, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, it's not just bugs anymore. It's like, I don't know what's the correct amount of emotional energy to spend on anything. There we go, see? 2,000 point gaming. 2,000 point gaming. My mom told me not to touch super glue because it was toxic. And one time I went to her, I was like, Mom, I'm gonna die. I touched super glue. And she had to reveal it to me. She just said it so I didn't get it on my clothes. I was like 8. You'd acetone to break it? I don't know. I don't know how to get rid of super glue. I don't think I've ever actually used super glue for anything. Like, we had it in my house as a kid, but I don't remember. We always had it in the drawer. I don't remember ever using it, and I don't remember anybody else ever using it either. I think we just kept it around, like, just in case. Like, on the off chance that, like, the perfect scenario will come up. It falls off eventually from sweat. Well, yeah, because, like, none of these things are immune to, like, moisture, right? Like, I know for super glue, apparently, like, isn't the big dangerous thing is that, like, if you get it in your eye, I know that that's, like, that's a risk, but, like, I feel like that's less likely to happen than getting it on your hands, right? But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's, like, anything... I feel like thinking that super glue was, like, super toxic because my mom said so is absolutely something I would have done as a kid, though. Like, I was out here adhering to movie ratings as if they were the law. I remember once, another, like, rules EGGY moment, when I was a kid was, like, my mom photocopied some coloring pages from a coloring book I had, and, like, I remember at the time being like, no, you can't do that, they're copyrighted! It's illegal! Like, I was like, no, stealing! It's like, no, they're copyrighted! We're gonna get in trouble! Again, I'm like, young EGGY would never download a car. I wouldn't! Young EGGY was, like, scared by, like, you know, at the beginning of movies when they would have the, like, FBI thing, and they're just like, FBI, don't pirate this movie. I was like legitimately intimidated by that. I don't know. It's like I understood rules existed, but I didn't understand that in order for, like, a rule to be an actual rule, you have to, like, actually, like, enforce it. So I just assumed that if you did anything that broke a rule, you would get in trouble, and not understanding the idea that, like, yeah, somebody actually has to, like, witness you do it and prove that it was you. I don't know, I guess I thought that, like, authority was way more centralized than it actually was. Because I think I was a believer in the permanent record. Did you guys have, like, as a kid, where, like, I don't think there was such a thing as a permanent record. Like, I guess unless you, like, committed, like, a crime where the police got involved. But, like, as a kid, I legitimately thought, like, you know, if you get in trouble, it goes on your permanent record. Young EGGY thought that, like, colleges in the future would be looking at misdeeds I committed in grade 3. The permanent record. And I don't know, I guess, like I said, I thought everything was a lot more centralized than it actually is. So, like, I thought, I'm like, you know, if you get in trouble at summer camp, then, like, your counselors will know, and your parents will know, and your teachers at school will know, and like, all the other adults that have, like, worked with you in your life will know. And like, no, in reality, if you get in trouble at summer camp, they'll probably tell your parents, and that's about where it ends, right? Yeah, we don't need permanent records anymore. Everything is online and logged. Well, only if you do it online, right? Because, like, I don't know. I guess I just thought, like, you know, if you get in trouble at school, then, like... I mean, then again, I guess, like... I'm trying to think. The school I went to didn't have a lot of kids who got in, like, really, really big trouble. Like, I don't think the school was even allowed to do, like, detention, really. Like, sometimes teachers, if you were in trouble, they might not let you go out for recess. But, like, that was kind of the extent of the punishment. That and suspensions. But, like, I think I knew exactly, like, one person throughout my entire time in elementary school who got suspended. And even then, I'm pretty sure it was, like, an in-school suspension. It wasn't, like, a full, like, don't come to school suspension. And it was only for, like, a day or two. It was, like, a very short in-school suspension. Like, I think... Looking back, I'm like, yeah, the children in my class, like, the other kids in my class were, like, relatively well-behaved, I would guess. Young Eggy would not make a good lawyer. Your Honor, he can't do that. That's illegal. It's illegal because it's against the law, you see. I'm sure you understand. I'm still mistrusting of any rule left at the enforcer's judgment. Example, I feel more comfortable if I told take up to 5 than take a reasonable amount. Yeah, I mean, I still kind of feel that way when it comes to school dress codes. Because I know that, like I've talked to people before who had, like, school uniforms as kids, and they're like, man, you guys are so lucky, you could wear whatever you want. And I'm like, yeah, yes and no. Because I found in my experience, it's like, if a school has a dress code, a lot of the time, it's written in such a way that it leaves a lot up to the discretion of the teachers. And I've definitely seen a lot of teachers, like, abusing their dress code teacher powers to just bother kids that they didn't like. Like, I definitely remember, like, there being girls in my class that were just constantly getting in trouble for dress code violations, despite the fact that they weren't really dressing that different from everybody else. Like, they were wearing, like, the exact same, like, shorts and such that everybody else was wearing. Like, and even, too, I feel like some rules were kind of made to pick on specific body types. Like, I remember my school had this rule for shorts that, like, they had to be as long or longer than your fingertips. Like, if you put your arms by your side, where your fingertips fall, that was considered, like, the, like, minimum length for shorts. But the problem is that, like, some people just have really long arms. Some people have long arms, some people have long legs, some people are built in a way that, like, the shorts always look too short regardless of how long they actually are. Like, I definitely saw a lot of people just, like, mostly girls, like, this almost never happened to guys, but mostly girls just, like, getting, just, the teacher's, like, decided she doesn't like you, and now everything you wear is incorrect. And I could always tell, too, because, like, it was always the same students, you know? Like, like, the rules were never applied evenly. The teachers for sure picked on specific girls in my school. And, like, yeah, I was lucky in the sense I was not one of those girls. But it also made me feel bad, because I'm like, you know, I could probably get away with things just by virtue of the fact that the teachers like me a bit better. You know? Just because it doesn't affect me doesn't make it— No! Hold on, I just got affected by something there. No, I got affected! I got affected. Congratulations, Penbu, for being the most effective. And for Nanara for being the second most effective, and to Alto for being the third most effective. I'm the least effective Mahjong player here. I'm the least effective. There we go. Hey, Egg, there's a very simple answer to our earlier conundrum. What is this? What am I looking at? What am I looking at? Oh! Hold on. Yes, everybody click Zolly's link. Ah ha ha. I will retweet that or repost it. This is Blue Sky. I will repost. That is the terminology they use here. Okay. I will repost that and give it a like. Ron. Yeah, guys would just get to stop letting your pants drop low. Yeah, I guess maybe that was like the one dress code rule. Or maybe sometimes I'd seen some guys get hit with like having inappropriate things written on your t-shirt. I saw guys get hit with that as well, but I feel like that was less common just because like I feel like that's something that was like usually pretty cut and dry, right? Usually most parents would be like pretty easily, like most parents can be like, yes, this is a thing my son should not wear to school. Right? It felt a little less arbitrary. Yeah, it is also terminology on Twitter, so I will call it retweeting on Blue Sky. Well, yeah, because that's what it is. I remember when they changed it from retweet to repost on Twitter, like there was like a huge thing for a while because a lot of artists would say like, no reposting of my work, in the sense of like, do not take my work, download it, and re-upload it somewhere else, right? I remember that was like a whole thing because like, they're like, okay, cool, now this like muddles the terminology here because like, please retweet my work, but do not repost my work. All right, what time is it? I think we'll do 2 more. We'll do 2 more, unless this one ends up being like obnoxiously long. I think we'll do 2 more. But yeah, I don't think if I ever got in trouble for dress code though. I don't think I did. But also like I'm short, so my legs were not especially long looking. They were always also, oh, that was the other thing too I noticed as well, is that they were always like way stricter with the older kids than they were with the younger kids as well. That I remember as well. But dress code just makes me think of some half JP streamers who went to school in Japan being singled out for dyeing their hair color when it was their natural color. Yeah, I remember hearing about that where they're like, no dyeing your hair, but also your hair needs to be black. And it's like, what if my hair isn't naturally black? And they're like, no dyeing your hair. I've heard of that. But like, I don't know. I think with uniforms, it's different because I feel like with uniforms, the rules are a bit more cut and dry, right? Because you're like, with uniforms, they're like, okay, here are the clothes and here's how you're expected to wear them, right? And here are like the liberties you're allowed to take and the ones you aren't. Whereas I feel like with dress codes, sometimes it's like, you can wear this except when you can't. Like, I feel like dress codes, again, both of them have their pros and cons. But I feel like with uniforms, it's a little more cut and dry. I don't know. I didn't go to school with a uniform. I think schools with uniforms here are pretty, they're not like uncommon, but they're mostly Catholic schools or private schools. Earlier I gave a bad example. It was more like being told, take up to 5, and a dude who took 12 says, dude, you can take more, trust me. And the nanosecond I grab a 6, they always got in trouble. Oh, like that kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, you weren't clear. Read my mind about what is the correct amount to take. Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Well, I guess it's more like as a kid, I didn't really think too hard. I think some kids, again, maybe this was just something I was especially bad at. Because I think a lot of kids who are more rebellious, it's because they think about the rules a little harder, right? Like, they're like, they will be told that they can't do something, and they'll be like, okay, why can't I do that? And I guess sometimes they get a good explanation, but sometimes it's just like, because I said so. And they're like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense to me, so I'm not gonna follow that rule. But I think for me as a kid, I just like did not question that. I did not think to question that. It's like, no, the rule is the rule because it's the rule. Why? Because, which is weird because I feel like I was like decently critical about other things, but just specifically when it came to like rules and authority, for some reason, I just would not think outside the box at all. I remember having to write essays about dress codes versus uniforms in elementary school. I don't know what they ever did with those. Probably nothing. I mean, I feel like that's like a pretty common debate topic for... Because like I definitely remember being in like grade 3 or 4 where they started getting us on that, like, you know, learning how to construct an argument and think critically and stuff. And I remember like that was a common one. That was like a common one that would come up as like, this is an appropriate discussion topic that is like, you know, the kids might have different opinions on it, and it is an interesting topic of discussion for children. You haven't learned to question authority yet? Well, eventually I learned to question authority, but like, I don't know. I was very much rules child. I had one school with a uniform. I did like it as it made it simple, as you don't need to think at all on what to wear. Yeah. Again, I never went to school. I'm trying to think. I did extracurriculars with uniforms. Like, I know in Girl Guides we had uniforms. But yeah, no, I never went to a school with one. Yeah, we have uniforms in public elementary here, and more than the uniform being ugly, I hated how uncomfortable it was. Well, isn't it like also like a seasonal thing? Like, I've definitely heard of like... Because, like, I know most places will have, like, a summer and winter variation of the uniform. But, like, I know in, like, the times of year when, the weather is changing and it's, like, I guess it's not entirely clear which one you should be wearing when. But yeah, I find it hilarious how many kids think it's a good idea to have cell phones in class. Well, okay, to be fair, when I was a kid, having a cell phone in class was, like... The effect was different. When you had a flip phone that could only, like, call and text, so that's different than whatever we have today, right? Yeah, part of it for both girls and boys, it's a bow, and the younger teachers didn't care if it was untied or missing, but the older teachers would get really mad. I mean, Girl Guides was kind of like that, too. I remember being in, like, a unit that was, like, super traditional, and, like, the leaders would always be, okay, you gotta have your sash, gotta have your tie, and like, the neck part has to be tied like this, and you gotta have, like, all your pins in this order. And then I went to a different unit that was, like, way less strict about these things, and it was like such a struggle just to get people to like show up wearing the t-shirt. Like, not even like the rest of the uniform, just like the t-shirt. You guys use neckties? Oh, for Girl Guides, no, it was like a kerchief kind of tie, but they had like a specific kind of knot that they wanted us to use with it. I don't remember what it was called, but there was like a specific kind of knot. Yeah, I think if I had to be in school now with a phone issue, I need a music player. Please let me play music during work time. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like... Because, yeah, I guess there are things that have changed. Like, phones in class, it means something different today than it did, like, when I was a kid, right? Or a lot of things around video games, I think, are different now. A lot of things surrounding the internet, I think, are different now. But yeah, I don't even think most adults have a job that justifies a cell phone. Kids don't need one either. I don't know. I'm of two minds about it. I'm of two minds. I guess it's the same like unsupervised internet access kind of argument where like on one hand there's a lot of things on the internet that I think children should not be seeing or engaging with. On the other hand, I also know that children don't get a lot of unsupervised anything time these days, it feels. So I'm like, the children need somewhere to be unsupervised. I don't think you can really, like, develop into a full person if you are being perpetually supervised by your parents. But also, maybe that's just a me opinion. So I'm like, yeah, if they can't be... If they can't be unsupervised in real life, it's like, yeah, they're gonna go be unsupervised on the internet. I'm drinking a sparkling water that's supposed to be lychee flavored, but honestly, the lychee flavor is so un-lychee-like that I'm like drinking this, and I totally forgot that this wasn't supposed to be grapefruit flavored. I like took a second, I'm like, yummy grapefruit, and I look at the can, I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, I mean, in the constant contact way. Yeah, I guess that too. I don't know, it's so weird to think that there was a time where, like, you would call someone's house, and if they weren't home, or if they were home and they didn't pick up, then you just couldn't contact them. Like, if you didn't know where they lived, or if you didn't have a way of getting there, you just couldn't contact them. Like, you know, if they were out, you just had to wait for them to come home. You just had to, like, leave a voicemail or try again later. Like, it's so weird to think, like, that's what it was mostly like. I mean, I guess when I was a kid, cell phones were invented, but it's not like everybody had one, right? Yep, high trust. Yeah, and, like, you know, I went to school for an entire day, and my parents would, I mean, correctly assume that I was at school. And I was at school, but, like, you know, did they have a way of verifying that, short of calling the school every few hours, which they were not going to do? Not really, right? I mean, I guess if a kid goes missing during the day, they will phone home, but, like, yeah. I went to school for the whole day, and my mom did not contact me, and I did not contact her, because I had no way of doing so unless something was wrong and I went to the office or something. You know, I think one thing that I keep running into, and I'm sure you've probably run into this with your parents too, is like, I feel like with people my age or younger, right? Calls are for something important. Like a phone call is for something of great importance or great urgency, right? Whereas a text is for something more casual, right? So like, if somebody says, please call me, you assume they're talking about something important. But I think for older generations, this was not the case, because I've run into this several times with my parents, and I feel like a lot of people have had this happen too, where like, I remember my mom once being like, please call me, and I was like, oh no, did like is something wrong? Did something happen? She just wanted to ask me what my plans for Christmas were. Like, and I guess my mom likes calling because she's like, it feels faster than texting, but I think that might just be because she can speak faster than she can write. But like, to me, I'm just like, yeah, if you want a leisure call, either schedule it or text first. But I don't know, when you say schedule it, it's more like, to me, I assume like, if it's a call, I assume like something of great importance has happened, right? Like, please call me should be an emergency. If it's a casual, please call me with context in the message. Yeah, that's the thing, yeah, if you say please call me, just want to talk about the holidays coming up, like, that's fine. But yeah, like, please call me with no further context. To me, I'm like, that's like so stressful, because it's like, I don't know, did somebody die? Did the house burn down? Like, are you guys moving to the other side of the country? Like, is there big news? Like, yeah, unscheduled calls are for important stuff. Yeah, that too. But I don't know, my mom doesn't usually do unscheduled calls because I tend to get taken off guard by those and just, like, not pick up. Yeah, Eggy, we need to talk. Yeah, we need to talk about your plans for the upcoming Christmas season. Yeah. But, like, I feel like that's just kind of like a generational difference, right? Because to me as well, I think if it's something casual that's not super urgent, I feel like it's better to also just do it as text, right? Because, like, the whole point of a text is that somebody can, like, look at it on their own time, right? As opposed to, like, a call where they need to be there in the moment to receive the message. Like, with a text, it's like, okay, you can read and reply to this when you have a moment, instead of having to, like, find a moment when you're available, right? Same vibes as check your DMs. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think check your DMs is that scary, but it depends on the context. Like, if somebody says check your DMs in Twitch chat, that doesn't scare me. And I've also had situations, like, I remember once I commissioned an artist on VGen, and then I forgot to check my VGen messages. So, like, she messaged me on Twitter to tell me to check my VGen Which is like fair because I was not really getting notifications for that. Yeah, if no one else wants to join, I could rejoin. Go ahead. Which ones? What do you mean? Oh, for DMs, yeah. Telling a story about someone and then the person types, check your DMs. Well, isn't there like the thing on Twitter where someone will like vague post about something and somebody will be like, who's this about? And they'll be like, check DMs. It's like, okay, cool, the rest of us wanted to know, but like, you know, keep your little secrets. Not in the mood for Zhong tonight, Gomen. That's okay. It is... You are actually allowed to not want to play Zhong. It's permissible. The Vague Post King. The Vague Post King. On a Monday? You're right. It is illegal. It is illegal to not Zhong on Mahjong Monday. You're obligated to. It's obligatory. The Vague Post King. I don't know. I'm like... I think Twitter's been doing a weird thing for me lately where it keeps feeding me vague posts, but it's vague posts about things that I'm not involved with. Like, it's like vague posts from like other fandoms. So I'll see somebody like vague post about something, and in my mind, as somebody who, you know, mostly follows and engages with VTuber stuff, I'm like, oh, is this about a VTuber? And then I go look at their profile, and there's like nothing about VTubers on there, and they don't post about VTubers, and whatever they were vague posting about is like completely unrelated, and I'm like, why? Hey, I'm the algorithm, and I'm gonna give everybody, collectively, I'm gonna give everybody a post that nobody can understand. I hate voice messages. Yeah, not a big fan of those. I don't know, I think voice messages can be cute if it's like, you know, saying goodnight. If it's just like, I think it's okay. Voice messages are okay some. Never use a voice message for anything important, you know? Voice messages are for like singing a little song or for like saying like good night or good morning. Voice messages, do not say anything with voice messages. That is actually important. It's always 30 minutes of, oh, could you, yeah. Could you lend me a keyboard? Yeah, you see, that's why they have to keep sending voice messages. They don't have a keyboard to type with. Wearing my requires context hat. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of voice messages for things that really just should have been texts. I'm looking at the time now and I'm like, maybe this will be the last one. Because by the time this ends, will be 11:30. And I went to bed later than I wanted to last night, so I'm gonna try to not repeat my mistakes. I can't be sleepy. Tick-tock, tick-tock, it's time to sleep. For you too, where have you been? Where have you been? Slipping. I don't know, last night... I don't know. I woke up at like 4 in the morning, and I was like, oh, it's still like an hour and a half until my alarm goes off, and I can't fall back asleep, and there's nothing to do. I shouldn't be using my phone this early in the morning, and then I didn't use my phone, but I also didn't really fall back asleep, so... Wake up. Oh, so eepy. Sleep. Wake up. I know which imagery you're referencing. I must inform you, I have my first 4 yellow-hearted Pikmin, a yellow cartridge one called Soy. Are you just like getting yellow ones specifically? I'm doing my flower planting duties, clean my house, drawing investigation duties, and mushroom battle duties. I've been, honestly, I've been slacking a bit on Pikmin Bloom, but to be fair, I have a job. I don't know, I've definitely been slacking. Oh, thank you for paying your taxes, Punkation. I feel like I've definitely been, like, slacking on flower planting, but in my defense, I don't have a lot of times lately where I'm walking. Like, I feel like it's not like I don't walk, it's just that, like, I keep walking, like, really short distances at a time, right? Like, it's like, okay, do I really need to turn on flowers for, like, what is, like, a 5-minute walk? Like, is there anything to be gained from turning on flowers while I, like, transfer buses at a bus stop, you know? Eggy flexing her employment, you're right, I need to be more humble in this economy. Yeah, tomorrow I have to travel a lot, so it'll be a perfect time for flower planting. Yeah, I guess for me it's like, I guess I will exercise tomorrow. Maybe if I walk home from the gym. Which I probably will, unless the weather is like absolute trash garbage. Yeah, maybe. You flex me all that you want because I also have a job. Let's hear it for the employed people in the chat, which is probably more of you than I think. Weirdly enough, actually, no. The evening... Now that I stream in the evening, I think maybe... the eggplant average of employment might actually be lower. Because, like, I definitely remember, when I streamed during the day, the crowd was very employed, because I feel like a lot of it was people watching the stream at work. Or, like, while working. Or on their lunch break. But I don't know what those numbers are like now. Unemployed here? They were euros. True! Yeah, either that or, yeah, they were... It was evening for them. But I'm eggployed now. I have a job. Let's all say job things. I have a job. I am employed. I have a meeting on Microsoft Teams. I hope they raise my salary sometime. I have to take a phone call. Perhaps I will do that on my lunch break. I think I need to send an email. Did you receive my email? Let's circle back to that. Hello, it's John Job. Please wait a moment, I've not had my morning coffee. Yes, I need to drink my coffee. Do offices even have water coolers anymore? Because I remember thinking about how, like, water cooler discussion used to be, like, the general term for, like, you know, things you would, you know, non-work things you'd discuss at an office. And I'm like, do they even have water coolers anymore? Like, at all my jobs in recent memory, I've filled up my bottle straight from the sink. We don't have the one with the big jugs. Yeah, but, like, do you have one in general? Brita filter discussion just, like, doesn't really hit the same. Doesn't hit the same. Let's table this, or circling back to... Yeah, gladly... I don't think my job... They're not big circle back tours, I think. Where I'm working. At least the people in my department. We don't circle back to a lot of things. Make an announcement, watch Eggy latest cover. Faye, you're preaching to the choir here. Vigorously makes hand motions while talking. Fantastic discussion. Mm. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I feel like we haven't had my department. Maybe it's like the age demographics of the department that I'm in, but I feel like yeah, there isn't a lot of like business talk. There isn't a lot of like business lingo. What is this flow? Why can't I get in ranked? This is just what happens every time somebody plays friendlies. Inevitably, this happens to at least one person every time. Down. Okay, we get it. Okay. Very unequal society we've built here. There we go. Alright. Good job, Alto. Good job, Taishi. Good job, Lavi. I am not having a good night tonight. I am not having a good zhong tonight. But thank you for playing regardless. Actually, you know what? It's 11:17. If you guys can join fast, I think we have time. We have time for one more. Yeah, we have time for one more if you guys are quick about it. Yeah, it also does hot water. I don't know, because, like, I don't know. Previous Eggy job had a coffee machine, like a fancy one. Like the one where you just press the button that says cappuccino and it makes you cappuccino. But I don't think... People didn't really gather around it, though. I don't know, maybe workplaces these days discourage gathering. I feel like a lot of the places I've worked... Yeah, there isn't a lot of gathering. But also I kind of take my lunch break earlier than everybody else. So maybe people do gather, they just gather when I'm not there. Repeats allowed, go fast, yeah. Join now. Join now. I don't know why people go to Tim Hortons instead of just having the free coffee. The free coffee at the job where there was free coffee was not good. Like, I know people like to dunk on Tim Hortons, but I think Tim Hortons actually would have been better. Alright, thank you for joining fast. This is the last one. This is the last one. We placed at a water cooler, but we didn't gather around it. The gathering happened instead around the foosball table. Well, that's because foosball table is cooler than water cooler. Like, yeah, of course if there's a foosball table, people will gather around it. Why would you gather around the lame water cooler when you got a perfectly good foosball table? Just get better coffee. I don't know. I was not the one in charge of the coffee procuring decisions. I don't know, the water can get pretty cold. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Over here, smoke break culture is still alive. It's not really a thing here. I mean, some of it is just because, like, it's illegal in some places to smoke too close to the building, so... And a lot of places discourage it. But I also feel like, I don't know, I get the vibe that... Because, like, I see people take smoke breaks, but I feel like here people tend to take smoke breaks alone. At least in the past few places I've worked. Like, there was maybe a few people who would, like, take theirs together, but I feel like it was, like, people would take smoke breaks, but it wasn't, like, a social thing. Like... But maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's also a generational thing. Because, like, I feel like the people, like, the older people who smoked would do it, like, as a social thing. And the younger people who smoked were... They seemed kind of embarrassed about it. Like, to the point high school seniors stare with their teachers. Okay, yeah. Here, that's definitely not the case. At my work, no one gathers around the water filter cooler. They just have conversations openly on the floor. So long as you aren't being loud, no one cares, really. I guess, yeah. Because, like, I don't know, at my previous workplace, like, it's not like nobody talked, I guess? I guess for some people, I guess it was more like there was, like, some people who were, like, had known each other since forever and were really, really, really good friends. And then there was everybody else. I don't think they were trying to exclude people on purpose. I think it was just that, like, yeah, these people have known each other since, you know, they were, like, super young. But I don't know. For me, it's more just like, I feel like when I start out at a new job, I like try to like see if I can like spot somebody with similar interests to me. But if such a person doesn't really exist, then I just kind of like flounder around a bit. And I think that's just kind of how it's gonna be in general. Because, like, there's been jobs I've worked before where you have, like, you know, the one other person who watches anime, right? Or, like, the one other person who's, like, online enough to, like, know what I'm talking about sometimes. But... What? Eggy, drink water? Hello, Hickory. Yes. But yeah, no, like if the person, if no such person exists in that workplace, then I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I guess I am the office weeb. I am the office weeb. I'll have to make myself weebier. I know there are some people who have, like, I've seen some people who decorate their desks. I don't know if I'm allowed to, just by virtue of where my desk is, but I know I've seen other people who have, like, various decorations and trinkets on their desks, so I'm like, I can probably get something to put up. Some art, or... I don't know. Maybe I would actually have a use for acrylic stands. You know? Because like, usually I don't like getting acrylic stands because I'm like, I'd rather just have a figure, and I don't like taking them places because I'm like, I'm scared they're gonna break. So I'm like, maybe if I have an acrylic stand, you know, provided one that's like, you know, suitable for work. And if I put that on my desk, I'm like, there we go. Yeah, maybe I have a use for acrylic stands now. Yeah, I was the type to introduce people to things, but my workplace also encouraged extracurricular clubs, which made it easier to do so. Yeah, I mean, I guess it also, like, depends on how... like, how big the company is, and probably also how big, like, the actual, like, individual team you're working on is. Because I imagine the bigger the company, the more space there is for that kind of thing, right? Not just, like, physically, but also in terms of, like... I'm doing hand gestures here, but, like, in terms of, like, you know, if there are more people, there is a higher chance that more of those people will be interested in any given activity, right? Hand? Hand. Hand? Hand? Hand. Hand. Hand? Hand. What? Not hand. No! Wait, are you knowing on my end? Okay, no, that's on your end. Okay, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. Not my problem. In fact, now it's all of our problems except for Ampersandy's. I'm getting so sleepy. I ran out of yap and now I'm sleepy. It's surprisingly hard to play Mahjong when sleepy. You have to focus. Like, not so much that you can't talk, but like, yeah, you do have to be like thinking with your brain and stuff. Which is difficult to do when you are sleepy and falling asleep. When you want to be in pajama and honk shoe in bed. I don't know, you know what I want to do actually? I was thinking, maybe I'll have to see. I might have to buy a pattern for it, but my grandma might have something. I want to make pajamas. Like, if I do another sewing stream, I kind of want to just make pajamas, because lately, every time I play Tomodachi Life, I look at, like, the gingham, the, like, plaid gingham pajamas and the little nightcap that my Miis wear, and I'm like, they look so cozy. I want to be that cozy. I want to be that cozy. I want to make pajamas and look like a me and jump into bed and have the covers just, like, blop over me. That's what I want to do. Because, like, pajamas, I think, are, like, compared to a lot of other things, they are a little easier to make because they are a simple shape. But yeah, I want to make pajamas. I'd have to buy fabric for it, though. And I'd have to maybe get a pattern. Because, like, patterns aren't expensive. But, like, if my grandma has something, it would be nice so I don't have to, like, go out and get one. The main thing, though, I think, though, is just, like, I don't know if I would have to cut the pieces. Because, like, when you sew something, right? You cut the pieces out of the fabric, and then you sew them all together, right? But the thing is that, like, I don't know if I would have to figure out, because, like, in order to cut the pieces from the fabric, you kind of have to have a large flat surface to do that on. And I just don't think I have a way to do it in a hand cam format without just showing, like, my entire body. Like, I just don't think but on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know, it feels less fun if I, like, cut the material off stream and then, like, sew it together on stream. It's less fun! Like, if I'm gonna show myself making it, I want it to be from, like, start to finish, right? Like, you want the Ebenezer Scrooge fit? The Ebenezer Scrooge. I need to be very, who goes there, core. I don't know, the nightcap, all my Miis look so comfy. They look comfortable with the nightcap. I can't imagine nightcaps stay on your head very well when you're slipping. When you're asleep. But they're cute. They look very cozy. I want to be that cozy. Like, I'm sure I can buy, like, gingham print flannel somewhere. And make myself nice pajamas. Slap clothes. I don't know, there's a few other, like, I'm trying to think of, like, other sewing stream projects I want to do lately. Because some of them I think would be mostly hand sewing, so we won't really be able to use the machine. I kind of want to make... I've toyed around with this idea. I kind of want to make, non-Ita bags into Ita bags. Like, I was thinking about this with, Beba's, tote bag that was released a little while ago. And I was like, what if I bought... Because you can buy, like, you know, like, the plastic sheet that you kind of... Like, that kind of, like, plastic sheet material that you use that they use when they make Ita bags? you can just like buy that, like buy the roll. And I was like, what if I just like bought that and like sewed a sheet of that onto the tote bag, so that I could make like I could make a bodega rat eat a bag. Like I would like sew it to one side of the tote, and then I would maybe put like acrylics and keychains. I make little pockets for that and put little acrylics and keychains. And then maybe add some like, I don't know, lace or other decorative ribbons and such. Rick-rack. Nobody talks about rick-rack. You really don't hear a lot about rick-rack nowadays. I was thinking about that recently. I'm like, I feel like when I was a kid, like you look at craft books and they're like, add ribbons, add buttons, add pom-poms, add rick-rack. You just don't hear about rick-rack nowadays. Rick-rack just really fell off. Like, well, when is the last time you heard about rick-rack? Arts and crafts lost the old whimsy. I don't know, it's not just arts and crafts, it's like specifically rick-rack. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. It's like kind of, I guess it's sort of like a ribbon, but it's like very, instead of being like flowy, it's like very stiff, and it had this like wavy texture to it. I think usually it was made of like polyester or something. Like it was very stiff, but it had like a very distinct look to it. Oh. Yes, I could have recheat here, but it is too late at night to think about that. Yeah. Try sleeping with a beanie that falls off easily. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'd have to look into like how nightcaps actually like worked. Like were people's nightcaps falling off? Was it like a thing they took off before they went to sleep? Or like was like people's nightcaps falling off, was that like a constant phenomenon? You know, the same way that of like people's hats blowing away in the wind? Like, what is the purpose of a nightcap? Was it, like, a thing to keep you warm in bed, like, back before we figured out how to, like, adequately heat and insulate a home? Nightcaps kept them warm and kept bugs out of your hair. Oh yeah, I guess maybe that was that's also a thing to consider. The one time I slept with a cowboy hat on, it didn't for some reason. I mean, yeah, but a cowboy hat feels like it's, like, a lot... Because cowboy hats have that, like, string at the bottom, right? Usually, right? No! There's a thing keeping it on your head. Mangan. Somehow, all of this violence, and yet still nobody over 30k points. No string. Curious, because, like, I don't know. We're into South, and still not a single person over 30k. I mean, I guess all of you are close, so I guess whichever one is next will win, right? But violence. Look at the number of points I have. Violence against egg. But yeah, because berets usually fall off. But then again, berets also fall off when I'm a whack, too. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think about... I don't know if I've ever slept in a hat. Because I feel like anything that would stay on my head would have, like, way too much structure to be able to, like, lean my head against anything comfortably. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like sleeping with glasses. Exactly. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've fallen asleep with my glasses on more often than I've fallen asleep with a hat on. And like, I wear both things pretty often. But I guess maybe it also depends on like your own sleeping skills. Because like, I can't fall asleep on like a bus or a train. I just can't do it. I've tried. It's never happened successfully. But some people can. So maybe I'm just a worse sleeper. It's a skill, and it's a skill I have never developed. Although I don't really know what kind of things you would have to do to develop it. Like, I don't know, I need to be... I feel like in order to fall asleep properly, I need to be horizontal. And like, just sitting and leaning up against the wall isn't enough. I'm so sorry, I just realized I extended this game by another billion years, probably. I'm so sorry. But I did this to myself, South 2 Gaming. South 2 Gaming. If I was with someone else who could wake me up, I'd sleep on the bus or train. I'm too worried about missing my stop. That's fair. But like, I'm even talking on something like road trips. Like, even as a kid, I could not sleep in the car. Because like, the thing is with any kind of moving vehicle, I feel, is that it makes noise when it moves, right? And to me, just like any amount of noise in that kind of case was just too much. Like, even something relatively quiet, like a car, or something that's like more soundproofed. Like, I can't sleep on planes. I can't sleep in cars. Can't sleep on trains. Like, maybe if they were parked, that would be different, but then what would be the point? I got the power of sleeping anywhere. My debuff is always being tired. See, no matter how sleepy I get, I could probably fall asleep at a desk at work, though. That I can absolutely see happening. But also, to be fair, my workplace is significantly quieter than a bus. And also is not perpetually in motion. Takes me like 3 days of sleeping in the same place to recognize it as a safe sleeping place. See, I think I was more like that as a kid than I am as an adult. Like, I definitely remember as a kid, like, you know when it would take you like several days to get used to sleeping in a place, and then like by the time you get used to it, it's like, oh, time to go home. I feel like I'm a bit less like that now. In fact, I'm not like that at all at this point. But maybe I'm just old enough that like I'm tired and a bed is a bed, you know? Like, the idea of having to, like, get used to sleeping in a different bed. I think, well, maybe. Okay, actually, to be fair, maybe, if the bed is, like, different enough from my one at home. Like, I know in Japan, beds on average are a lot harder than they are here. So, I remember the hotel I went to initially, like, before I went to the dorm, was, like, it had a softer than average bed. But then when I actually, like, checked into my dorm and, like, felt the mattress, it's like, yeah, this is the mattress you're gonna be sleeping on for the next 6 months. I was like, whoa, okay, that's gonna take some getting used to. Not even traveling, if I move my bed, it resets the counter. He, like, washes his sheets and it's like, nope, starting over. It's not the same bed anymore. Yeah, having to sleep over at other family members' houses during visits broke me of that early on. See, I did that too. It's just that, like, I don't know. I guess it's like, it would take me 1 or 2 nights to get used to it. But I also was not an especially sleepy child, I think. To be fair, my parents would have me go to bed very, very early. But I was not an especially sleepy. I was not sleepy. I did not become sleepy until well into adulthood. I'm not sure when I became sleepy. You know, I think it's only been... It's only been a few years since I became sleppy. No! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Really? Really? Still remember the day when the sleppy attacked. I don't know, because, like, I'm trying to remember. Like, was I sleppy? I was not sleppy throughout high school. I was not sleppy at all. I was not a sleppy teenager. And I don't think throughout my first year of, like, the 1-year spa school program, I was not sleppy. And the year I spent working, I was not especially sleppy. Even, like, the first, I don't know, I feel like being sleppy was, like a... Yeah, maybe it was, like, during, like, COVID times when I wasn't going anywhere and so my sleep schedule fell apart. Maybe that's when I became sleppy. Eggy, drink water? Okay, I'll have more water. Like, that's when I became sleppy? I think that's when I became more sleppy. But even then, I feel like when I started streaming, when I started VTubing, I wasn't that sleppy. Run! Like, maybe I didn't... maybe that was, like, the beginning of sleppy. Oh my god! Thank you, Alto, for getting the exact number of points. We're free! We're free! We can go sleep! We can go to bed! We can brush our teeth and put on our comfy pajamas and hop into bed and go honk shoo me me me. We're free! We're free! There we go. Thank you for playing. Thank you for playing. Thank you for freeing us. Longest last game. See, this is the thing. This is why I can't say just one more game, because this will happen every single time without fail. Alright, let's see who's rateable at this hour. Thanks for streaming matches. Thank you for playing. I am enjoying doing weekday streaming. I don't know, maybe this is like another side effect of working, but I feel like I look forward even more to streaming. Like, I'll be at work and I'm like, yeah, when I go home, I'm gonna zhong. Or even like last week, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go home and Ganondorf tennis, you know? I guess maybe it's like, you know, because like I enjoyed streaming when I was unemployed, but like, I feel like I enjoy it more now. I guess maybe because like, I guess streaming was kind of my only obligation when I was unemployed, right? But now that it's like, it is kind of the second place thing, right? After going to work and doing my job. So it's like, I guess that makes it more fun, right? It's the work-life balance, yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know. I think about like, I'm like, why did I enjoy extracurriculars in high school so much? And it's like, well, because they were extracurriculars. Like, you were doing your fun things, but you were also doing your boring things. So you had a balance. But yeah, let's see who we can rate, though. We got... Almontis is on. Cubalt is on. Have I ever rated Cubalt? Probably. Vanille. Corpse. Meat. Oh, it's Cubalt's birthday. You know what? I think we'll raid into Cubalt. Yeah. I feel like I haven't raided into her. I must have raided into her at some point. But I feel like it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I can't see what she's streaming because I'm stuck in the ad zone. But it is her birthday. So I think that is a worthwhile raid. So, let's go there. Let's go. There we go. There we go. We're ready. We're ready. What's our raid message gonna be? Too sleepy to think of raid message. That is our raid message. That is our raid message. Because it is true. Because it is true. That is the truth. It is true. But yes, I will be back Wednesday with something. First week of no Zelda. We'll see what happens. It'll probably be Tomodachi Life, but maybe I'll continue with the model kit. We'll see. We'll see. But either way, there will be stream. There will be stream, for sure. But until then, thank you for being here. Thank you for being nice and good. Thank you for zhonging. Have good sleeping. I need to have good sleeping. But you should also have good sleeping. But until then, au revoir. Bye-bye.